Did they save the best for last day in Tampa, Florida at SEC Media Days? Steve Sarkisian, the final coach, heading to the podium. We talked a lot about Texas yesterday, Diesel. We talked a lot about those Longhorns. And Steve Sarkisian, the final coach to speak in Tampa. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson. A Tolo Thursday. We're both in the Ingles Market Studios, ready to roll, and we're ready to hear from you as well. The four teams in Tampa to close out SEC Media Days today, Diesel. Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, and Texas. And we now get to hear from Steve Sarkisian. But, I mean, Lane Kiffin's the big story, right? I mean, even though Sark's a big deal, Lane probably took all of the spotlight today, I'm sure.
You know, I listened to quite a bit of SEC radio today. I watched a little bit of Media Days on my TV, and it seemed like everybody wanted to ask Lane questions about Ole Miss. Nobody was really interested in asking him about LSU. Hey, tell us about this team. Tell us about how they're developing. Tell us about Sam Levitt. Nah, it was like, hey, man, you feel bad about the way you left the way you left Ole Miss? What do you think about Ole Miss? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, finally, once they finally asked him a question that wasn't about Ole Miss, he was like, oh, thank God.
You know, I hope, and I don't know if this will be true or not, Diesel, but I hope that today maybe is closing the chapter on those questions, right? And I don't know if it will be.
You're funny to think that.
Well,
these questions are never going to be closed.
But what other setting, I guess? What other setting do we think that, I mean, like during the season that's coming up here in a month and a half, if we're asking LSU or if we're asking Ole Miss questions, then what are we doing? My point being, okay, maybe this is the last opportunity for non-LSU beat writers to talk to Lane Kiffin in a setting where they can get those questions in. I hope so, because to your point, my gosh, I want to hear about this year's LSU team. I'm intrigued to hear about this year's LSU team and what this team will look like. That was, 7-4 a season ago, Diesel? Yeah, I know that might be a little naive, but nonetheless, we'll see. Diesel, you were sick a couple of weeks ago. Side note, right? Going to go off script here. You were sick a couple of weeks ago. I was sick right before you. I think you had it worse than I did. A lot worse, right? You thought you were going to die there for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Today,
caught up with a bunch of old movies.
Let me tell you the craziest thing today. Today, about 3-4 hours ago, and I'm not going to go over there and give you a hug or anything. I started getting like tight up in the chest area. You know, like when you get a cold or something.
Could be a heart attack.
Well, let me tell you what happened next. My throat started being a little sore. And now, all of a sudden, and this is not good, but if you feel down your neck, you're not supposed to feel like big bulges or bumps.
I'll feel my neck. I'm not going to feel your neck.
You'll feel mine. Is it lymph nodes right here? They are so swollen. And I don't know if you can see them on the camera.
Oh my God. Yeah, where your thumb is right now? I see a red spot. Your neck is red where your lymph node is.
And I'm telling you, they are so swollen. My throat feels like it's the size of a pencil right now. And I don't know if I'm getting sick. Is that
again?
Again, I just was sick
right before football season.
And I don't want to. I took some ibuprofen a few minutes ago. I don't know if that'll help or not.
I got some hot tea in the office next door.
I think I need a lot more than that, but I just hate this feeling. I hate this feeling when I talk. It hurts a little bit, and I'm thinking, oh no. Oh, no, please don't let me be getting sick right now. Please don't let me be getting sick right now. So,
because we got a lot coming up. We got high school football preview shows next Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
You can't get me sick because I got to go hang out with Shane Beamer next Thursday. I can't get Shane sick.
Well, all that now that you did about him yesterday. But Tolos, if you hear me struggling or talking a little slower, maybe that's a good thing. I talk too fast. Anyways, my gosh, I hope I'm not getting sick. Like you said, we were just both sick a few weeks ago. Back to SEC Media Days, though. Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, and Texas. We know Steve Sarkisian. We know Lane Kiffin. But what about Arkansas and Mississippi State? Are we just like, as media, do we just kind of throw those off to the side?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a league. This is a league of elite football teams, right? And if you're at the bottom of the barrel, nobody cares. Nobody's going to ask Mississippi State question. Nobody cares about Arkansas, Cole, until they get above 500 or until they go beat somebody they're not supposed to beat.
The two teams won a combined 7 games last year. Mississippi State, Jeff Levy in his third season. He walked to the podium. I'll get some audio here in a minute. He just looks like some other frat guy that you see walking around college campus. Arkansas won 2 games last year. They were 2-10. And Ryan Silverfield. Now, I know to your point, I think you're right. We do kind of just throw the Bulldogs and Razorbacks off to the side. Fair or unfair. But hey, let's see what Ryan Silverfield can do. Let's park on this for a second. Is there anything out there that makes us believe Ryan Silverfield can turn Arkansas around? Because Arkansas has been bad. And Diesel, for those that don't know a lot about Ryan Silverfield, I raised my hand. I really didn't know a lot about him.
Do you know where he was before Arkansas?
Was it Memphis?
He was at Memphis.
So he was at Memphis, and I've always thought Memphis was like a pretty good program. Pretty good, not a terrible program.
They got a lot of resources over there. Maybe FedEx is not putting in the real kind of money that we think that they should.
Yeah. So he was hired at Memphis by then head coach Mike Norvell prior to the 2016 season. After Norvell left Florida State in 2019, Diesel in December. Silverfield was the interim head coach before being promoted to head coach. Now, if you go off of what Florida State did, is Arkansas now following Florida State Diesel by hiring a Memphis guy? Right now, Mike Norvell's kind of on the hot seat, right? He played defense in college. Let's see. Early coaching career started off in high school. Went to Memphis. Doesn't have a ton of experience. Doesn't have a ton of experience. He was, like I said, hired in 2015 by Norvell at Memphis. And he was with, he was at Toledo for a year. And when I say experience, I mean as a head coach. He was at Toledo for a year. He usually took a position as an offensive analyst at Arizona State. He left part of the way through the season to join the Detroit Lions staff as an offensive line coach. So he's been an assistant coach different places. Minnesota Vikings, he was there for a couple different position coaching stints as well. I don't know what we make. The sad thing is, I don't know that people outside of Arkansas really care about Ryan Silverfield. What's interesting is, according to Phil, still they have the fourth most difficult schedule. And a first-year head coach. It was 2-10 a year ago. He only won 0 games in the SEC.
Yeah, this is going to be a long, slow trudge up the hill for Arkansas football. Now, good news is you got a big-body quarterback in KJ Jackson. He was a 3-star coming out of high school. He's a big kid. He's 6'3". 225 last year. He only started 1 game, but he ended up with almost 5 yards to carry on the ground. We just don't know. That's the thing. We don't know much about anything about this team. What we do know, Cole, is they only brought back 4 offensive players from last year's team. They brought in 4 more starters out of the portal. They have 2 guys off of last year's defense. 3 more defensive starters came in via the portal. I mean, this is
one of the least experienced teams in the country. They are the least experienced team in the SEC. Number 16 of 16. This is going to be a trudge. So I feel for Ryan Silverfield. This is one of those jobs that's incredibly hard to win in. And you say to yourselves, man, if you're Arkansas, don't you think about maybe moving back to the Big 12 where it's a little easier to win?
Or the ACC.
Yeah, it's true. Conferences names don't mean anything anymore.
Let's see. The KJ Jackson quarterback you're talking about, no transfer history, right? He's a one-and-done kind of guy as of right now.
2 years with Arkansas. He's going into his second season in the system. Well, it's a new system.
Well, he was a redshirt freshman a season ago. And I don't know. I mean, to your point, you're right. We just, with so many new faces on offense for Arkansas, we don't know a ton about him. Ryan Silverfield's been, a good coach. Tim Cramsey's the offensive coordinator. He was hired by Ryan Silverfield. So this offense, you talk about KJ Jackson, Tim Cramsey is going to be the guy that is installing this offensive identity. And let's just be frank, I don't know that a lot of people know who Tim Cramsey is, Diesel, unless you're just a football junkie. He's an offensive coordinator now in Arkansas. He was the OC and quarterbacks coach at Marshall. Mm-hmm. He was also at Memphis with Ryan Silverfield. He's been at Sam Houston State, Nevada, FIU. So he's been around the block at some smaller colleges, but he has been at the FBS level, which is important. He was at Montana State as well at the FCS level, Diesel. But we'll see. A lot of unknowns. To your point, I hope Arkansas can figure out how to get back to Razorback football, because it used to be good. Used to be good at one time, but it's been a long, long time since those days.
It's one of those programs that when they're good, it's better for college football. But, hey, this is life in the SEC. It's really tough. Here's the problem, Cole. A lot of the transfers that they brought in, they're not bringing in Power 4 transfers. I mean, they're starting running back, Sutton Smith Jr. He's a transfer from Memphis. There's a handful of guys. One guy came in from Louisiana. Another one was at UCF. UCF is a Power 4 program now, so apologies there to all our Knights fans in the audience. But, most of their transfers coming in are G5 players. And I never heard, not that you hear much about G5 linemen, but I've never heard of any of these guys.
Well,
so they're taking the opportunity to maybe step up for one more ride and see what they can do. He's going to have to be, a defensive guru and have an offensive wizard with him to create something at Arkansas, because the schedule is never going to be forgiving. And, at this point, I think they probably about maxed out the amount of money that they're going to get from Tyson Chicken and Walmart,
Yeah, you need to spread some of that over to football a little bit. And we'll see. Like the last time, it's been a long time, to your point about the SEC, obviously tough, but the last time Arkansas Diesel was really good, top tier level, 2011, they finished 11-2, number 5 in the country under Bobby Petrino.
Who's
Bobby,
now in North Carolina,
now up there with Wild Bill. Yeah.
B squared. Bagel Bill.
They were Bagel Bill. I like that. They were 6-2 in the SEC that year, 11-2 overall, won the Cotton Bowl against Kansas State. Tyler Wilson was the quarterback. They lost to LSU and Alabama that year, 2010. They finished 10-3 with a Sugar Bowl appearance. Sam Pittman, you just real recent, Diesel, 2021. Sam Pittman, remember, led them to a 9-4 season.
Yeah, his second season there was great.
They won the Outback Bowl, beat Penn State, providing a kind of a rare bright spot on the national stage for Arkansas. It just hadn't been outside of that one good year for Sam Pittman, 9-4. I think we all like Sam Pittman, but Arkansas, you said it, it's an uphill climb.
It's really tough.
We'll see.
When we were talking about sinkers and swimmers yesterday, Ryan Silverfield might be making positive strides within that program, but I still don't think they're going to swim. Like, to me, swimming there is just, it's getting one more win. It's getting to 3 or 4 wins, getting an SEC win.
How do you get bowl eligible in Arkansas, consistently?
But this SEC slate is Georgia at home, at Texas A&M, Tennessee at home, at Vandy. That might be their winnable SEC game this year on the road at Vandy. But hey, look at all of us, just assuming Vandy's going to return back to Vandy. Then they got Missouri coming off a bye, on the road at Auburn, South Carolina at Texas, and then LSU. So they trade conference games all season long, home away, home away. They don't get really a stretch where they get to play a couple of home games in a row. I see one conference win, maybe 2. Maybe they steal the game on the road at Auburn. I don't know, but it's hard.
We've talked about Ryan Silverfield. Let's hear. What's he sound like? What's he say? Tolos, by the way, if you just tuned in, welcome in. He's Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson, 97.1 Spartanburg, 97.7 Greenville, and 101.5 Andersons, where you can listen to the show. You can watch the show live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Let's hear a little bit from the new head coach in Ryan Silverfield.
That starting job as it sits today, KJ Jackson and AJ Hill, both are very, very intelligent. Both are very hardworking. Both have the skill set in order to lead us to a bunch of SEC wins.
Sounds like AI talking.
So thrilled with those two. Everybody keeps saying, when will a decision be made? Listen, they're going to continue to battle through OTAs and summer access, and then through training camp, and then we'll look up later at the end of August and see where it sits. But very pleased with the way each one of those guys is progressing and looking forward to seeing how they continue to try to lead our offense. Talking about our staff, all right, tried to put together what I believe is a great coaching staff and everybody that's involved in our support staff. And you look at it, let's start with our offensive coordinator, Tim Cramsey. Tim has been with us the last 4 years at Memphis and stayed loyal. In fact, as SEC schools called him and tried to get him to come be a coordinator in the SEC, he stayed put and said, I'm going to stay loyal to you and to the school. And then ultimately, when this job came open, he said, let's do this. And he's had a lot of success, a lot of top 25 offenses throughout his career. If you look at what we did on offense at Memphis, we have no doubt that same success can be reciprocated at the University of Arkansas. A guy named Ron Roberts. All right, Ron Roberts, a lot of you guys have known throughout this league, had a lot of success, has been around, has been in.
Ron Roberts. I mean, hadn't you heard that name before? Car salesman down here at Woodruff Road on the left.
This is not an all-name team coaching
No,
staff.
no. Oh, no,
What,
no.
Rick Cranston
No. Here we go.
and Ron Roberts.
Ron Roberts. I mean, gosh.
FCS head coach. Have a lot of faith in Ron. In fact, I actually interviewed him while I was at the University of Memphis when he was the D coordinator at Louisiana Lafayette. Tried to bring him a part of our staff and actually couldn't afford his buyout. A couple weeks later, he ended up at Baylor. But a lot of faith in what Ron's doing. He's running the defense, and he knows what it's done. He's looked at a lot of these offenses throughout the SEC, throughout the years, and excited to see what we're going to do on the defensive side of the ball. And then lastly, our special teams coordinator, Chad Lunsford. Chad was most recently at Auburn, and he's a guy that's been a Division I head coach.
So Mike, Ron White, and Chad, right? Is that what he said? Ron White, not Ron White, the comedian. Ron somebody, and Chad. Again, to your point, a bunch of no names.
Southern and had success as a special teams coordinator.
No disrespect to
so
him.
Excited to add those three coordinators and feel very, very confident about the rest of our coaching staff. We feel like we've assembled a great group of guys, a unique mix that ultimately are going to pour into our players and give us the best opportunity to have success. You know, people say all the time, Ryan, what is the expectation in year one? What does success look like in your first season in Arkansas? And this is not coach speak. Truly, can we make improvements every single day, right? Can we be the best in the country at the controllables, everything that we go out there every single day? And for me, success has been set up from not only when we got there in December to the winter workouts in January on, to spring football, where we're getting better, to the summer conditioning and OTAs. Are we making improvements? Are we bigger, faster, and stronger? And those are the things that we can measure on a day-to-day. Are we handling ourselves academically, setting benchmarks and records for the highest GPA, the most community service hours? Those are things that we get to see progress in. But ultimately, we're going to be judged by our wins and losses, and we understand that. We want to see our guys go out there and play harder than they have ever before. We can judge by the effort we're playing with and between the white lines. When you watch us, are we playing more disciplined than the Razorbacks of past have played? Are we taking care of the football? Are we winning those close games? Are we finding ways to play better at home? Couldn't be more thrilled for what's exciting and ahead of us for the 2026 football season and beyond. Look forward to seeing so many of our great fans at Razorback Stadium throughout this fall. They've been wonderful so far and can't wait to make them proud.
Not saying he's not going to be a good coach, but God, he's boring. He is boring.
Yeah.
My
he
gosh.
is. He's taking his cues from the commissioner, right? He's not taking his cues from Nick Saban. He's taking them from the commissioner.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be mighty tough. And then, obviously, Steve Sarkisian speaking now. Big story, as we know. We talked a lot about Sark, a lot about Texas yesterday, Diesel. And Lane Kiffin's going to figure out a way, just like he did yesterday when he wasn't even there. He's going to figure out a way to steal the show, I'm sure, and steal the spotlight, Lane Kiffin is.
There you go. We'll talk LSU on the other side of the break. Cole will also dive into what's going on with Sam Leavitt, his recovery, what the timeline could be, and give our confidence score, Cole, on our predictions for LSU. We'll do a run down the schedule, think of what they might be able to achieve, and then question how confident are we in that if Sam Leavitt is not a full go. That's coming up next right here on the Fan Upstate.
Fan Upstate.
Well, the questions about Lane Kiffin and his departure from Ole Miss will continue, Cole, until Lane Kiffin takes his team to Ole Miss and actually plays a football game. Until then, this is all we have to talk about. We know this happened, and it's still the juicy story. Lane was asked if he regrets how he left LSU. It's interesting. I think now that he's had a couple of months to think back on it and reflect, Cole, I think he may feel a little sorry for how he did things. Quote,
you kidding me?
I wish I would have gone in when I met with Keith and said, I've made the decision to go. I wish I would have just said, hey, I'd like to coach the team. And if he said no, I'd say, okay, I appreciate it, and move on, and we'd never discuss it again.
Wow.
He also said, Cole, that he spoke about his messy departure with a motivational speaker named Kevin Elko. And Kevin Elko told Lane that he was, quote, trying to do something impossible. Kevin said, that's really like you're in a marriage. You're leaving the marriage that she thought was great. It was great for 6 years, and you're leaving it in order to go to another woman who she despises. Oh, but let me stay in the house for a couple more weeks with the kids, and I might bring some of the kids with me. You're okay with that, right? And then I'm just gonna leave. I think it nails it with the metaphor there.
Yeah.
You break up with your wife to go date her best friend and say, hey, can I still stay in the house for a couple of weeks? He's certainly looking back on it and thinking I could have done some things differently. I think he really it feels bad about the way he dragged the decision out for as long as he could. But Cole, he is also, I think, understanding that he's in a better position now at LSU, a better position in the long run to go win national championships, even though that difference in what he's getting at LSU and Ole Miss might be razor thin. I think LSU is set up for maybe Ole Miss. Maybe he felt like Ole Miss was maximizing what they had now, and that was all he was ever going to have with Ole Miss. But he knew that the ceiling of resources at LSU would only grow.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? We talked about it when it happened. Diesel, there was no good situation there. Like, even if he, to his quote there that you just read, even if he were to have gone in and said those exact words, it's my belief that that was going to be a messy situation regardless. Could it have been less messy? Sure, it could have been less messy, but at the same time, the timing of it and the schedule, Diesel, that college football, and let me be fair here for a minute to Lane, we have a schedule that's not really the best when it comes to how coaches leave, when they leave. And I'm not taking up for Lane Kiffin because it was messy, but I just looked at that whole situation and my thoughts really hadn't changed. And I understand his point. Yeah, you could have done this different. Yeah, you could have done that different. But I also put some of the blame on the schedule in college football, Diesel. I just do. It's just it's a tough thing to do if you want to leave in the time frame that he left.
I mean, he could have pulled to John Summerall and said it's non-negotiable. If you want me to come be your head coach at LSU, you have to let me finish the season at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
he could have said that.
Yeah,
he very well could have said that, but he chose not
to.
So Cole, let's look at the LSU schedule here and think about it from the lens of Sam Levitt's injury here. As we all know, Sam Levitt had the Liz Frank injury. He had the surgery. He had pins and screws put into the top of his foot, and the recovery on that is iffy at best. Thinking of the timeline here,
sounds painful.
He underwent surgery in October, so think of everything from months out from October. 3 to 6 months, you regain functional recovery. You can go out and live your life, right? You can walk around in a boot. You are functional again. 6 to 12 months, you can resume physical activity like hiking, golfing, or cycling with a gradual return to running. Now, if you start thinking about the timeline here, 6 months from October is November, December, January, February, March, April. April, he could, at the very earliest, get back to doing some kind of physical activity. Here's the problem with that, Cole. With the amount of physical activity he needs to undergo, that window is very short.
Yeah, it is, but I tend to believe that somehow, some way, just like we've seen with other people and other players and other schools at the collegiate level, I tend to believe somehow, magic way, he'll be ready. Now will he really be fully healthy? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight.
It does help that he's getting the best physical therapy
Yeah.
around the clock, right? This is not a normal person. This is not you or
Right.
me having a Liz Frank surgery. This is a college football player who gets PT all the time.
And no disrespect to the quarterback position, it's not like he's a receiver or a running back where you have to be as crisp when it comes to like route running. And again, I'm not saying it's not important.
But can you win in the SEC on 1 foot?
Well, if he has 1 foot, no, I think it's going to be a problem. If he is seriously still injured, yeah, I think it's going to be a problem. But I just tend to believe, and I'm no expert doctor here, I tend to believe that by the time they open up with Clemson, I should have known that. Clemson, he'll be okay. Will he be 100%? I don't know, but I think he'll be okay enough to give it a go.
Is the O-line at LSU good enough to block the rushers from Clemson that are going to be coming after him? And then what level of escapability does he have off of an injured foot?
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where, like, if we fast forward to, what is that date? September 5th. If we fast forward to September 5th.
It's 11 months, by the way.
Right. I think Diesel, like, could the possibility of him re-injuring it be out there? Absolutely. But I think when you talk about the things that you can do now in today's age, especially on the day of, to make sure that pain's gone, I don't think you'll notice anything. And I could be dead wrong. I don't think on September 5th you'll notice anything unless he injures it again in that game. And God forbid that happens, right? But
yeah,
I think if he can go out there and get through the first couple of weeks, I think they might be in good shape. Now, one thing I want to point out about LSU before we get into their schedule, we spent a lot of time last year during the offseason and now talking about Clemson's disastrous season last year, right? Let us not forget Diesel and Tolo's out there. It was a disaster in LSU last year. I mean, disaster, like with an exclamation point. That Garrett Nussmeier was back at LSU. Things started off good. They were a national championship contender. He was a Heisman contender. They upset Clemson. They went 4-0. They're number 3 in the country, right? Like, oh my gosh, this team, here we go. Brian Kelly's taken. Then they lost to Ole Miss, lost to Lane Kiffin. Then they lost to Vandy. Remember that? Diego Pavia.
Best Vandy team they'll ever have. I promise you that.
Then they got blown out, and I mean blown out by Texas A&M. Brian Kelly, axed, fired, gone. So all of a sudden, this thing went from like in a month's span last year, if we remember, to really good to
that's such a
really
roller
bad.
coaster to go from number 3 in the country to fired like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, in a span of a month and a half. And then they lose to Bama, right? Nussmeier's done. He packs it up. After a bowl loss, LSU was 7-6, and they were horrible when it comes to running the ball and offensive yardage. And then, bam, off season, there comes LSU sweepstakes. And we know what happened with Lane Kiffin and LSU. But let us not forget that as much as it was a disaster right here at Clemson a season ago, this is a program that you said it. I think I agree with you. I think they'll be good under Lane Kiffin. But let us not forget they were a disaster last year in 2025.
So if Sam can't go, their next option is Hassan Longstreet, 6'1", 195-pound. What is he this year? I think he's a sophomore this year. He was at Southern Cal last year. So it depends on, is he a redshirt freshman or is he is a redshirt freshman. But regardless, he played a couple of games at Southern Cal last year. He is a really good quarterback here. And this is what's so interesting. It's the debate between an experienced, aged quarterback playing potentially on 1 foot, and really all it takes is a lineman backing up and stepping on his foot, or a defensive end stepping on his foot, and then boom, you're done for the game. But,
no, I agree with
that. This kid, Hassan Longstreet, not the biggest kid in the world, like I said, 6 foot 195, but his profile coming out of high school, elite arm strength, quick release, dual threat capability. He threw for 3,000 yards and 24 touchdowns as a junior in high school. Came out early so that he could get into USC, enroll early. But, a 3,000-yard quarterback with 24 touchdowns, that's a heck of a junior season. He's a player. He's a baller. And I wouldn't be surprised, Cole, if we don't see Sam Leavitt struggle a little bit, whether it's just by virtue of not being 100% back or by virtue of something that happens in a game that re-injures it, that Hassan Longstreet doesn't come in and really take this team to a different level. So I don't think it's impossible. It's certainly not impossible that Clemson beats them in week 1. I know that on this show, Cole, I've said that I think LSU beats them, and I think they beat them squarely, but I really wasn't up to date with everything that was going on with Sam Leavitt's condition.
Okay, so 2 hours ago, Lane Kiffin spoke with Michael Cobble out of Baton Rouge, Diesel. Michael Cobble out of Baton Rouge caught up with Lane Kiffin one-on-one and asked about this, what we're talking about, Sam Leavitt's health and where he is right now as of July 23rd. Here's what Lane Kiffin said.
Great confidence in his health. Now we got to play together, obviously, and grow together as an offensive staff with him and all the pieces around him that are all basically new for the most part. But I have great confidence where he's at health-wise.
Great confidence where he's at health-wise. And that's my point. Like, as long as everything goes swimmingly up to the Clemson game, I think he'll be out there. I think he'll be fine. Like you said, if something happens,
nobody will touch him in practice.
No, and they shouldn't. If something happens during that Clemson game, of course, things could change. But Sam Leavitt, I think when we see him against Clemson, when they're hosting the Clemson Tigers, I think he'll be out there. And Lane Kiffin talking about his health right there. I think that's interesting.
Let's hear a little bit more from Lane Kiffin. This was in the big room, in the media room. We jumped past him thanking all of the people at LSU. They've been great. Baton Rouge is great. Greg Sankey's a great guy. Everybody loves him. Here we go. Lane Kiffin finally gets into, I think this is where we're jumping in, is a good spot with really good audio.
In Tampa. So these 7 months at LSU have been awesome. It's been amazing, to come into Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana and the acceptance and how great they've been to my family. And the commissioner talked about, to have a son, Knox, playing on campus, and every morning they practice, and then he just can walk over from practice onto campus is really special, and how the community's been to us as family and the state. Over 7 months, just seeing that Louisiana is built off hardworking people that are really passionate and love football.
Is hardworking maybe a little bit of a slang term for poor people? Because Louisiana is not the richest state.
It's not. It's a hardworking people out there in Louisiana.
Tough people down there in the boot state.
And I think that really fits in well with our staff and the values and principles that we bring into our organization, into our football program. So that's been great. And there's so many things to do in Baton Rouge and then New Orleans right up the road. It's been great for our staff and for their families, and been very appreciative of that. One of the things that has really stuck out to me has been the alignment at LSU from the top down, from President Roos to Burge Osber, athletic director, to our board of supervisors.
To the governor.
Alignment has been great from the first time I met with them. And then a lot of times people, schools recruit just like coaches do. And then is it that way when you get there? And it's been amazing, that alignment and commitment to building a championship program.
It's amazing how money can get everybody aligned.
Well, I'll say this too, and going back to alignment, you hear this all the time. And Diesel, I hear it at the high school level, we hear it at the college level, and I have friends that have coached at the college level, and this is true. We've said this a million times, but what he means there is this. He's got the administration on the same page that he is on. He and the administration are reading off the same sheet of music. And I know that sounds simple. That doesn't happen everywhere. We've talked about it all the time. I love the great quote that we've talked about. And I think it was John Calipari who said, coaches win games and administrations win championships. And that's true at the college level. That's true at the high school level. It's true at the pro level. You got to have buy-in. And when you're around these programs and you talk to these coaches, the coaches I've talked to, college and high school, that's the number one thing I hear from coaches. That is the number one thing I hear, is they want support from the top. They want support from the admin. And when a coach has that, man, it's a good feeling. When they don't have that, you still can win a lot of games, but it's just not the same.
As I was getting ready to leave the house today, I tuned in to the SEC network, and they were interviewing Ryan Silverfield from Arkansas. And they were saying, hey, look, this Arkansas program, this whole athletic department is aligned with basketball, because look how good their basketball team has been the last couple of years under Cal. The baseball program is aligned. Everything is going well. Like, how do you build that alignment on the football side of things? And he said he didn't go as far as to say, look, our administration is basically cast football to the side, but you could tell like there was an air there of under the last couple of years of Sam Pittman, the from the top down, they just were not focused on football. And that's a hard thing to do, right? With this day and age, money is scarce. And that's I think a lot of times athletic directors and administrators and school presidents, they get hired not because they're great administrators. They get hired because they're great fundraisers.
Well,
and that's hard to spread that money around. Like, are they going to have to take a little bit away from the basketball program to give to the football program, or the baseball program to give to the football program?
and look, what's different about Arkansas than North Carolina? Well, what's different about the two programs when it comes to football? I mean, you compare the two up. Of course, North Carolina might have had better seasons here and there, and Drake made all that stuff. But you talk about Arkansas, you're talking about North Carolina the same. I mean, sometimes you're talking about Duke in the same way. Sometimes you're talking about Virginia until Tony Elliott got there in the same way. So there's not a huge difference there. Like that Tyson money, that Tyson chicken money, it's going to basketball. They're playing basketball.
Yeah.
And, what part of Arkansas are they in?
That's the north.
Somewhere.
Western
Same thing,
Arkansas,
North Carolina. I mean, it's just, it is different. It's different, man.
I did hear him. He was asked a question, Cole, and this is one of his breakout interviews. He was asked a question, what it's like to now have his daughter dating a player that's playing for him in Whit Weeks, who is the linebacker for LSU. He's playing for them again this year. He was asked a question, and he told an interesting story. He said, every now and again, about every year, I do like a purge on my finances. He goes, I go through and I just close credit cards and open new ones, because his kids have access to his credit card accounts and they use it for DoorDash like constantly. He tells a story about his daughter, Landry, the one who's dating Whit. And he gets this frantic phone call. Dad, your credit card's been canceled. Your credit card's been canceled. And he said, well, that's because you went over your DoorDash allotment for the month. And then he sees Whit in a meeting the next day, and Whit said something to him about it. He said, Landry said that the credit card got cut off. And he told him, Whit, you're making money. It's your responsibility now.
That's true. I mean, is he wrong?
So, Whit, you got to use your NIL money to pay for my daughter's DoorDash.
Of course you do. In your relationship, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Look, let me say this about Lane. I like Lane. I've always liked Lane. Were things messy? Yeah, I stuck up for him. Remember me and Kev got into it on the promo. I like Lane. I always have. Is he a little snake in the grass sometimes? Maybe. But I do like Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin's great for the sport of college football.
Yeah, we don't have to re-adjudicate it. I thought he could achieve everything he wanted to achieve at Ole Miss, and there was no reason for him to run away from something that he knows is going to work, that he knows is working. I have no doubt, Cole, that Lane Kiffin staying through the end of the season last year improves their chances of winning the national championship game. I don't say that. I'm not saying they win it if Lane Kiffin is there, but I think it improves their chances. And, there's no guarantee that you'll ever get back there with LSU.
No, there's no guarantee.
The chances are good, but there's no guarantee.
No, it's not. It's that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. But I wish can I get on that DoorDash allotment real quick?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
He said that his daughters or his kids, because he's got multiple, one of them, he couldn't figure out how somebody got his credit card number again, was starting to use it to order DoorDash. Apparently Lane had sent his new credit card to his son, and then the son texted the credit card number to the daughter, and the daughter started using it again.
Whoa, I mean,
but he cut her off.
But Diesel, doesn't it have to be nice to be one of those? I mean, good grief. Yeah. Let's go quickly to the phone lines. Matt from Ohio wants to weigh in. What's up, Matt?
Hey, you guys opened up the topic, so I had to jump on.
Okay.
When North Carolina hired their basketball coach, I think his daughter played volleyball at North Carolina.
That's correct.
Yes.
The new men's head basketball coach. And one of the things that I heard was, yeah, one of the things that I heard was, he kind of had some conversations with his daughter about staying out of the bars on campus. I wonder if for Lane Kiffin, the inverse of that is correct. Like, I wonder if his kids have to tell him to stay out of the bars on campus.
Well, hey, let me tell you this, Matt. I don't know if you read this article or not. I read it this morning. Lane Kiffin, if you go look at his social media accounts, he hadn't posted in a while. He said in an article that his son challenged him to do a purge from social media where he just gave it up for some time. And Lane said in that article it's been one of the most refreshing things he's ever done.
Talking about bars, he needs to stay out of the sorority houses.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that whole environment was kind of what I was getting at, guys. But yeah, I thought when it was funny, and I heard that when you guys had reported on the Carolina head basketball coach and the conversations he had with his daughter, I thought to myself, man, the opposite of that is true with Lane.
Yeah.
His kids are telling him to stay clear of that stuff.
That's true. Matt, thanks for the call as always,
Good to
man.
talk to you. And good to see you yesterday, Matt.
That's
from Ohio.
right. He
Thanks for
got
coming
that
out.
$25 gift card, right?
Yes, he did.
Congratulations to him. Congratulations to him. And congratulations to those Atlanta Braves. Let's talk Braves. A big day, a big 2 days for the Braves. And, man, the All-Star break paid off to be pretty good for those Braves, didn't it? We'll get into the Braves and what's made them so successful in this last stretch. Can they keep it up? Now it's time to go on the road. That's next.
to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Well, past couple of days felt really good if you're an Atlanta Braves fan. If you are out there watching the show, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, or listening, let us know. Let us know how you feel since the All-Star break, Diesel. The Braves made drama, made it really interesting last night, tonight, or today rather. But the bottom line is, while things got iffy last night in Atlanta, while things got iffy again today in the top of the ninth with Raisel Iglesias, the Braves won again. They've now won 2 of 3 against the Rangers coming out of the All-Star break. They took 3 of 4 against the Padres. Mm-hmm. And I know the Padres aren't the best team this year, but let me tell you why I'm really excited. Braves have been terrible against the Padres as of late. Last year in 2025, they went 1-6 against the Padres. 2024, the Padres won 10 of 13 games during that 2024 to 2026 stretch. The Padres have held the Braves, over the past 4 to 5 years. And this is a team that I worried about because they were the Padres, still a team hovering around 500, but the Braves managed to take 3 of 4. Now the Braves have now won, Diesel, 5 of their last 7 coming out of the All-Star break, and you get Ronnie back any day now. A lot of reason to be excited about the Braves right now.
Well, they're winning it in a way very similar to how they were winning games before they fell into this slump, right? They were not scoring a ton of runs right out of the gate, but those later innings, you get past that starting pitching, and they were figuring guys out, and they were knocking guys all over the park. I mean, last night where they batted around in the 8th inning, it was an incredible thing. Now, obviously, it's not good when you give up what they gave up in the 9th, and the Padres came back and almost took the game from them. But hey, it's a really positive thing. Number one, that Austin Riley is hitting again. Where's Dewey been over the past couple of days?
Yeah,
Dewey, you owe Austin Riley an apology.
He's playing better. That batting average has climbed a little bit.
I mean, so many guys on this team are hitting well, and even a lot of the plays, Cole, where they're not where they're getting outs, they're productive outs. They're hitting into some sacrifices. They're putting contact on the ball. And they're not striking out a whole lot right now.
Dom Smith talked about it post-game with this Braves team, like their mentality, and I think it all starts with Walt Weiss. They're trying to win every at-bat. They're wearing on pitchers late. Like when they've seen, Dom Smith was talking about it, when they've seen the stuff from the starting pitcher or whoever it is, they feel more comfortable, as they should. That's what you do in baseball. And this team, look, we said it during the slump. They're more talented than they were during the slump. It's always, we say this a lot in radio. Things aren't as bad as you think they are when things are bad. Things aren't as good as you think they are when things are good. The Braves were really good to start the year. They weren't as good as we thought, maybe. They were really bad for a time. They weren't as bad as we thought. Now they've won 5 of their last 7, and you look at what they have coming up. They've got a road trip to Baltimore. Okay, going to be tough. Road trip up to Baltimore is never easy. But then you've got division opponents not named the Phillies. You play the Mets, and you play the Marlins, and you have some opportunities to continue to stack wins. Oh, by the way, the Phillies lost last night again to the Dodgers. You had a 4-game lead. You won today. The Phillies are off today. Right now, today, you have a 4.5-game lead in the NL East again. So if somehow, some way you can get that thing to 5, 5.5, I'm not saying you have to win this division by 10 games. The goal is just to win, baby, like Al Davis said. But there's a lot of reason to be excited about. Still a lot of baseball to be played, but you scored 50 runs this week without Ronald Acuna Jr. in your lineup, and that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, as fast as that lead disintegrated over the past couple of weeks, Cole, it's building right back up.
Love it.
So well, hopefully they can keep it going, and as you said, hopefully they get Ronnie back and things change. Let's, Cole, play some audio in the next segment. A bunch of audio from SEC Media Days. Not all of it from today. Kind of a little more comprehensive approach to SEC Media Days audio. If you guys missed it, there's some really good stuff in here, including Pete Golding basically crashing out when asked a question about tampering in college football. We'll play that audio for you next. You know, it's amazing, Cole, how a matter of perspective can change your reaction to the same piece of audio or same piece of video. I think a lot of people saw this yesterday in, looked like his big room speech. John Summerall got interrupted by a reporter's cell phone going off. And we're going to play the audio for you here in just a second.
By the way, this is great.
It's fantastic. I love it because I really enjoy John Summerall, and I think he's going to be really good at Florida. And most of the people who heard this audio are like, yeah, love this guy. He's being tough. He's being firm. It's also a little bit funny at the same time. Whereas Brad Crawford, who we've had on the show before, and I promise you, Brad, I'm not coming after you here, but Brad had a opposite take on it. He goes, it's phony tough, and he's just doing it for clicks and likes and whatever, man. Like, I think that's a little bit of fear, honestly, in a South Carolina Gamecock fan, realizing that he is a Gamecock fan. He lives in Columbia. He's talked about being a Gamecock fan very often. I'm not breaking any stories here, but maybe it's a little bit of fear that, this program in Florida that's been down for a while has a good coach and could be coming back. But here's the audio of John losing it, quote unquote, when a phone goes off.
Well, I'd say no two decisions are alike. Like Lane and I are friends, and Lane and I talked several times through the process of October, November about what it was looking like for both of our schedules of how things were going to unfold. And you'd be kicked out of our team meeting. I swear, like, you're lucky I'm not going to throw this freaking podium right now. Like, drives me crazy. I would say, who is that? But I'm not going to embarrass anybody.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Look, do I make a big deal of it? No. Him throwing the podium, that comment's kind of a little weird. Like, it's a little like, do you have rage issues? Does it make you, want to throw podiums when you hear phones?
That's parsing words right there.
I mean,
rage issues. He's a football coach. Of course he's got rage issues. I mean,
you talk about crashing out because he hears a phone and he just picks up I wish he would have done it. I do. I wish he would have just picked up the podium instead of saying it and threw it. I mean, we would talk about that moment at SEC Media Day for the next 100 years. I wouldn't be alive, but we'd be talking about it. Just pick it up and just throw it across the room and be done with it. If you're going to say you're going to do, don't talk about it, be about it. Go throw the podium.
He's making $7.5 million a year at Florida, Cole. You don't pick up a podium and throw
What would have happened? What would be his punishment?
He'd get arrested for assault.
No. Just let's say not at the guy. Let's say he just threw it off to the side of the stage. Just threw it off the side of the stage, just mad like Bobby Knight style,
Nothing would have happened.
You don't think the University of Florida would be like, dude, what are you doing?
Florida fans would be like, we love this guy.
He just broke a podium.
He doesn't suffer being interrupted in practice. We love this guy.
Oh my
Teaches
God.
the players not to do it. It's great. He's you could hear him getting distracted there in the middle of it. I would have answered the phone. I mean, like, you know what? Give me your phone. I'm gonna talk to whoever this is.
No.
Yeah,
That's too far.
Give me the phone. We got to talk. I'm gonna put it on speakerphone and be like, boop. This is John Summerall, head football coach at the University of Florida. Your friend's phone went off, and I'm answering it.
As long as it was funny, like as long as he made light of it,
it'd have been hilarious.
It would have been fun.
Speaking of funny here, Cole, this is the audio that I love. When I tell you that I think Pete Golding is going to crash out at Ole Miss, when I tell you that I think the fans are going to start like chanting Sneaky Pete at him, when they start holding up signs that say, tamper you, whatever. This is what I mean, because he was asked about tampering and he defends it, and you can hear him getting more and more excited as the audio moves along.
Let me put it to you this way, okay? Like, so obviously you're a reporter, right? Would you quit your job before interviewing for another job or being offered another job? No, nobody would. But we have a portal that you can go in with a do not contact. I'm going to quit my job where I'm getting paid, and I'm going to go in saying I need a new job, but nobody can call me to interview.
He's talking about Luke Ferrelli right now, and he's not talking about Lane.
Like, what have we created? So we've created it on top of representation for these players,
right? That it's their responsibility to make sure they get paid really well and they also have opportunities. So by design, it's put a lot of people in bad positions. And let's not act like recruiting in college football for the last 100 years is the most moral thing, right, that's ever been existed. I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
Is he saying that being enrolled at Clemson, having an apartment, having classes, going to classes, that's being in a bad position? Luke Ferrelli was put in a bad position when he signed at Clemson.
I think he's saying when he said that about being put in a bad position, I think, and again, not trying to put words in his mouth, I think what he's saying, Diesel, is these student athletes are put in the bad position, or what he's trying to say is the student athletes are put in the bad position because they may be on campus. Maybe they're not on campus yet. Maybe they're not in a dorm room. Maybe they don't have a car. Maybe they don't have a Paul on the side of their car yet. Maybe they're not sitting in class at Clemson. But from when I hear that audio, because I heard that last night, maybe he's saying they're put in a bad position from the standpoint of you put this do not contact tag. They're not allowed to be reached out to. We want them to be able to make the best decision for themselves. But when they commit to Clemson or when they commit to wherever, he feels as if they should still be able to have other options out there. Again, take the word commitment and absolutely throw it out the door, right? Because there is no more commitment anymore. There hasn't been. But I just think that he is so pro-player in this case. Why? Because he got the player. He got the player.
What are the first two letters of the word not? In do not contact, what's the first two letters? N-O. Yeah. No. What no means no. Do not contact. Screw that do not contact. We're gonna contact anyway.
And what he's saying is, hey, everybody's doing it. Everybody's contact. And me and you talked about this 4 or 5 months ago when this whole thing happened about like tampering. And I think Tom in Somerville and I and you were talking about it one day. And I said it. Do I think it's right? No. But if you're not doing it, you're going to get behind. Like everybody, I think, is maybe Dabo's not. I think everybody's tampering.
Are you getting behind, or are you just not fast enough to go get the guy that you want? Are you not nimble enough? Did you guys miss? Did you make a mistake and not go after a Luke Ferrelli once he became available, or whatever player you're talking about?
Cutthroat, right?
You just weren't quick enough. You know, there's those commercials with the guy with the fishing pole and the dollar bill on the end of it. He says, not quick enough.
But what Pete's saying is, why be quick? Just have more money. Right? Yeah, why be quick? Just have more money.
Here's more Pete, and this is when he starts getting a little agitated.
So I'm really not going to get into my feelings. And I know how I've been educated to answer this question, right? Does that make sense? It's where we have a great compliance department, right? And all those type of things. But no, I mean, the model obviously has been broken, and I'm all for everybody being on the same playing field and doing the same things. I get it. But I think that's in any job. Right? Like coaches, we're under contract. You don't think other ADs are calling us during the year? Same ones that are bitching about all this stuff are the same ones calling coaches, right, to come to other schools, right, and everything. So it's everywhere. It's in every profession. So I'm not saying I've got all the answers. I'm not saying that at all, right? Does that make sense? So we go within the rules of the program, right, and how the flow, just like when you're on the interstate and people are flying by you, what do you start doing? You're damn right, you're going to get hit.
We know what Cole does.
That makes sense. In this profession, you're going to get fired, right? So I'm not saying that, but I think there are a lot of people that are doing an unbelievable job, Greg being one, right, to make sure that, all right, everything's catching up. College football is constantly changing, all those type of things. So hopefully we'll all, decide on what's fair for everybody.
I think Pete Golding is a used car salesman.
Well, let me tell you what it sounds like to me, and maybe there's truth and validity to that. It sounds like, and I think there's some truth to this as well. It sounds like that coach is wired in a way where he will do whatever, and I mean whatever it takes to win. 3 words, at all cost. That's the way it sounds. He doesn't give a what about any of the rules, about this, about that. I think one time he said, we're doing everything within the rules. As long as like his HR, or not HR, but their compliance department didn't send him emails.
He said we're doing everything within the rules of the program. He didn't say the rules of the conference. He didn't say the rules of the NCAA.
Yeah, what rules?
We're doing it within the rules of the program. And it's funny, though. He says, the system is broken. Well, do you want it to continue to be broken or not? The system is broken. We're breaking the rules, but if there's no punishment, is it really breaking the rules?
I get it. Yeah, it's tough, and that's why I think this era that we're in with college coaches, like you have to decide. And Dabo Swinney's, he's in that boat. Like these coaches have to decide what they these morals and all these things that you want to be, you have to decide, do you care about that or do you care about winning?
Yeah.
And he said it there. I mean, I don't agree with it all, but it is. Do you have, I have one piece of audio also from Pete Golding. Do you have any other Pete audio?
It's the only one.
Okay, I'm going to get to
Fire
this
away.
as well, talking about identity, Ole Miss, what he wants the program to be. This is pretty good stuff too.
If you're not tough and you're not competitive and you don't love football, like Ole Miss ain't for you. Like that's we're going to get after you every day. There's going to be an expectation to be at your best every day. We're going to hold you to an extremely high standard, and so a lot of guys don't want that because there's two groups of dudes right now. There's that group that loves football, and there's this group that loves what football can do for them. Right? It's a nicer car and a nicer condo, which are all good things. But when it gets hard and it's that group runs because they don't love football. And so I think elite players want to be around other elite players and they want to be held accountable. And so that's what I kind of love about this group. Like they want to get coached hard. They want to be held accountable. And so there's a toughness piece to this group that I really, really like.
I like that quote. I do have to give it to him. I like that. There's two groups of players. There's the group that loves football, and then there's the group that loves what football does for them. That's true at any level. I love that. I'm not going to put that on a poster. I'm with him on that.
I heard from a couple of different players. I think one was an Arkansas player who was about to play his 4th year at Arkansas. And he was asked, why would you stay? Why would you stay at Arkansas with the struggles? He goes, man, I'm from Arkansas. He goes, I want to be a part of this program. And years from now, I want to be remembered and I want to be able to come back to Fayetteville and I want to go back to my hometown and I want people to love me for the way I helped set Arkansas up for the future.
Yeah, respect that.
And I've heard a couple of different players. And again, this is not true for every player because a lot of players are entering the transfer portal and they're jumping from place to place to place. But the ones that you hear from, I think Whit Weeks was another one who said something similar to this, was it's just not wired in my DNA to run from this place. I love this place. Yeah. I love where I am. It's important to me to help set this place up for the future. And, the guys that there are still players out there, despite what some people think.
Yeah.
There are still players out there who want to commit for 4 years because they love the school and they love the state and they love the fans and they love the colors. And that means everything to them. How do we amplify those stories rather than amplifying the stories of the guys that play at 4 different schools in 4 different years?
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, look, that's true at any level too. I mean, I appreciate and respect guys like that.
Yeah,
I do. It's not everywhere though.
Another piece of audio for you, Cole. I think we played this on the show yesterday, but it's too good not to bring back. This was Josh Heupel when he was asked about Lane Kiffin's return to Knoxville, Tennessee. Remember, we all know what happened the last time Lane Kiffin played in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Josh Heupel said, no, our fans have not let off one bit.
Certainly hope our fan base hasn't cooled off. So, whether it's the grocery stores being fully stocked with mustard or, our sports stores, making sure that they got reinforcements on the golf balls. Hopefully Knoxville's ready for his arrival.
So that's interesting, Cole. Let's say for the sake of argument that a repeat happens. Let's say somebody throws a golf ball and hits Lane or hits a coaching staff in the head with the golf ball and hurts them. Are you telling me that a Jackie Childs type of lawyer is not going to go back to that piece of audio and said, well, hey, Josh Heupel told him to do it. Josh Heupel told them to sneak mustard into the stadium. Josh Heupel told them to go around to their local sporting goods stores and get golf balls and throw them onto the field.
That November 21st matchup is going to be wild. I'm looking at the schedule. What Tennessee is on November 21st, what LSU is. Of course, that'll impact the perception of the game, but still, you got to think this LSU schedule. They're at Ole Miss and they're at Tennessee. That's 2 kind of popcorn. Give me the popcorn kind of moments right there.
Interesting. So Tennessee, by that point, Cole, excuse me.
I don't know how they'll be by that. It's
Tennessee
late,
by
man.
then will have gone through the gauntlet of Texas, Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. Sorry, Kentucky fans, skipping right over you. They very well could be at the 3 or 4 loss mark by that point in the season. I mean, heck, Furman, tough this year. They might get them in week 1.
Come on, let's go, Furman.
But, imagine for the sake of argument that they are 3 or 4 losses deep at that point in the season. You telling me that fan attendance is not going to increase by 10,000 because LSU's coming to town?
For sure.
Like
for sure.
they could sell, what's the capacity there at Neyland Stadium? 102,000.
It's a lot.
You telling me that 70,000 people will come to the Kentucky game after they've had a tough start to the season, and then 95,000 won't show up for the LSU game?
No, it's
Because
gonna
they
be
get
great.
a chance to
It's gonna
throw
be great.
stuff at Lane Kiffin?
I mean, they're going to, and that's what makes college. I mean, look, as long as it stays kind of like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't have to anymore, but that's why college athletics, college football is what it is. Those two games, at Ole Miss and at Tennessee, boy, those will be interesting.
And last piece of audio here for you, Cole. I know we have Dan Scott from Furman. He's going to come on, play-by-play voice of Furman football and basketball. He's going to join us on the other side of the break. Here's Kalen DeBoer asked about coaching after succeeding Nick Saban at Alabama.
Kalen, from the outside, it looks like you took on an impossible job following Nick Saban. It also looks like you handle it really well. To what degree is that true, and how do you feel personally that you've handled that situation?
Yeah, I think you can talk about how great of a job Coach Saban did in building the program to what it is, and the expectations. I just know my past experiences being part of places that have the pride and tradition on the extreme high level, like Alabama would or Alabama has. It'd be something that I wanted to be a part of, and I love that challenge. I love the internal challenge of just in the moment of trying to bring a team together to be the best we can be, but I also love the challenge of taking a program and 1 year, winning a championship is hard. What's so impressive with what Coach Saban did for so many years is doing it again, because everyone's coming after you, and everyone's going to bring their best when they face you on the football field. And so, that's what I understand. What I understand took place and happened here during the great times, and Coach Saban obviously leading the charge here. But I also love the challenge of trying to continue to build on that, continue to add to this program's great history.
Yeah,
Great history.
great history.
I've got one more piece too.
A lot of challenge, big challenge, wanted to be a part of the challenge, wanted to coach somewhere where the expectations are super high.
Here was Kirby Smart Diesel, one more piece of audio, talking about the blueprint for Georgia. Some things in college football have changed. I actually like this a lot. I really like this a lot from Kirby. I think it was on Get Up this morning or yesterday morning. Here's the Kirby Smart audio.
You've won the conference the last couple of years. Favored to do it again. What is the blueprint for your team to win the SEC this year?
Well, it's every year. It's going to be run the ball and stop the run. And people want to talk about NIL and transfers and portals and expansions and 9-game playoffs. And at the end of the day, guys, it's about who plays football the best. And we pride ourselves on coaching hard, playing physical. And that's how you beat people in the SEC. You got to be able to run the ball and stop the run.
Well, that's fascinating to me that you go right there, because so much of the conversation surrounding the sport is about that now. It's about all the other stuff. And there's a perception that people like me have that your job has just completely changed, that the job of being a college football coach in the last, 5 or 6 years has completely changed. I feel like you're sitting there telling me that once the season begins, it's really at the end of the day back to the same coaching principles it's always been. How different is your life than it was before all of this madness took over?
No, you're correct. It has completely changed. The job of a head football coach is different now than it was 5-6 years ago. But what wins football games is not. Okay, don't mistake that. So we do a good job of separating those two things. Our coordinators do a great job of focusing on the things that win football games, how we can play better. But as a head coach, it's very different than what it was, but not what wins. What wins football games has not changed and will never change.
I like that.
Yeah.
Being a coach obviously has, but what wins football games has not. I think there's a lot of truth to that from old Kirby Smart. Old Kirby. You mentioned it. Let's get to the phone lines. Dan Scott giving us our first look at the Furman Paladins. He was at SoCon Media Days earlier this week. Diesel, and also talking about this newcomer. A newcomer into the Southern Conference. What in the world? Tennessee who? We'll talk to Dan Scott about it next.
Upstate.
Well, football season, it's inching closer and closer. And, man, to talk about football, SoCon football, Furman Paladins football, we're joined by Dan Scott, play-by-play voice of Furman Athletics. You hear him right here on the Fan Upstate. Dan, how the heck are you, man?
Well, I am doing good. Good to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. Good to talk to you as well. Hey, listen, we're going to get into Furman, but I want to get your thoughts on the newcomer in the Southern Conference. You were at SoCon Media Day, and the other day, Diesel and I were doing a little research on Tennessee Tech and learning the mascot, learning where they were, all the basics. What do you think fans who have followed this conference for so long, Wofford fans, Furman fans, Western Carolina fans, can expect from this newcomer in the conference now?
Well, the first thing I think you can expect is that if last year's any indication, they're going to spend more money on NIL at our level than any team in the SoCon did a year ago.
Wow.
And from people I talked to, it was pretty noticeable with the dudes that they ran out there last year. Outside of that, Cookeville, Tennessee is beautiful this time of year, I guess. I don't know. Furman actually played there 2 or 3 seasons ago, and it was interesting. We were, in our radio booth in the press box, which was very small, and out the press box door to our left, part of the stands had been condemned. Because there was a sinkhole or they were falling in or something. I don't know, but it made you feel really good about where you were sitting calling the game. But I say that, and apparently they have spent a ton of money, upgrading their stadium and doing some other things. So I think they're expecting to step into this league and be a player immediately.
So Dan, not from the Furman perspective, but just fully looking at the Southern Conference, why are some of the other public institutions, I know some of the smaller private ones have their own sort of funding issues. Why have Western Carolina and Chattanooga and some of the other bigger schools not funded at a level that Tennessee Tech is going to?
Choice of their administration is the only thing I can tell you. I know from talking to my friends at Western Carolina, they have to play a certain amount of money games every year to not only cover costs but to pay help pay expenses for other sides of campus. It's basically going to come down to, can you raise money for NIL? Can you raise money for that stuff? And I know Furman's taken a hard look at that, and I don't know what the dollar figures are, but I'm pretty confident it's more this year than it was last year. But it's just going to be in the hands of these small schools to try to adapt the best that they can, and a lot of it's going to come down to how much money can you raise to do it.
Dan, a minute ago, you mentioned you had word that Tennessee Tech was going to be a player. Man, their football stadium, $57.2 million football stadium up in Tennessee. It's a nice one, nice press box. I'm sure you'll like that. But you talked about the renovations. When you said that they're going to be a player immediately from an NIL perspective, do you have information? Is that just football, or from what you know, do they spend across all sports from the information you've gathered?
My knowledge is limited, and people will say just stop the sentence there, and we know that's the case. but what I know is what I've read about their football program.
Gotcha.
I don't know what they're doing as far as other sports are concerned, but I know that last year that they for this level made a pretty significant splash from an NIL standpoint, and look at the season they had, it paid off.
Dan, when it goes to NIL at the SoCon level, we talk about it a lot with the big programs across college football, but how much do you guys hear? And I know all of that stuff isn't made public knowledge, but from a fan's perspective that maybe follows Furman or follows, Wofford over in Spartanburg, how much of that gets leaked out? How much of that's held? And, those conversations are talked about in the barbershops around the upstate when it comes to how much these local schools in the SoCon are spending when it comes to NIL.
I think there are a lot of people who think they know what's going on.
Yeah.
and there are people who are really good at running with little bits of information that are nothing more than rumors. I have a general idea of what Furman is doing in football and men's basketball, but A, it's not for me to say.
Sure.
And B, there's so much, in the social media driven world that we live in, there's so much bad information out there that gets taken as gospel. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's true and what's not. All I know is, from a Furman standpoint, our coaches are doing the best they can. Our administration is doing the best it can to move ahead and adjust to this crazy world that we live in on the fly. And that means losing players when other schools come poaching them. And that means finding ways to get and then retain players.
Dan Scott, voice of Furman football. You're going to be hearing him on these airwaves here in, just a couple of weeks as Furman football not far from getting started on the season. So let's talk about some of the new faces here, and we'll start with the position that everybody really wants to hear about the most, the quarterback position. What is it about guys from out west, Dan, that has attracted them to Furman? Redshirt sophomore quarterback Connor Ackerley, he's from Tempe, Arizona. Jake Garcia, he's a grad student. He's from Whittier, California, by way of the University of Michigan, which a heck of a get here. I'm sure, Dan, kind of a wide open quarterback room, but what can you tell us about the battle in that room right now?
Well, no decisions have been made, but I would have a hard time believing that they would bring in a guy who was at Michigan and also East Carolina and Miami and not start him if he proves to be anything other than a wooden Indian. So my bet would be that you'll see Garcia start. I know they really like the Ackerley kid. He is a smaller player, but the one thing that they wanted to do was get more mobile at the quarterback position. Trey Hedden had a gun for an arm, and it looks like he's going to start at New Mexico State right now. But Trey was not a mobile quarterback, and in the system that Justin Roper runs, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback needs to be mobile. And you look back to what they're able to do in 22 and 23, and a mobile quarterback played a big role in that. So that's whoever gets the nod, and I think both of these guys have the ability to make plays with their feet. That's going to be part of the process.
Talking to Dan Scott, play-by-play voice of the Furman Paladins. That offense that you've talked about there obviously stops and starts at the quarterback position. Do you feel as if the returning guys, I'm just looking here, Dan, you've got some experience coming back, 32 returning lettermen, 14 total starters as Coach Hendricks goes into his 10th season. Hard to believe it's year number 10 in this stint. So you talk about these returning guys, but also the new quarterbacks. You have a guy on defense in Joshua Stone King who led the defense last year, made all kind of award watch list going into this season. Is there enough returning in your mind to give them a good, strong core nucleus to come out of the gate hot, regardless of what the newcomers have to adjust to?
Yeah, personally, I do. Hunter Reed and I were talking yesterday, and one of my questions as last year went on was they could not really find a complement to Stone King when it came to rushing the passer. And that makes the season that he had that much more remarkable. Well, part of that was due to injuries. So right now, the two deep experience they have along the defensive line, along with Stone King, Demetrius Baldwin is back, Caldwell Bussey, Tanner Shuck, Garrison Butler, Mark Hernandez, and then they went out and got a young man named Eli Lipscomb who put up just incredible numbers at Wingate, and they're really high on him. So the feeling going into camp is that the defensive front probably is going to be the overall strength of the team. You get an injured Ryan Earl back at the linebacker spot to help shore that up. And then you have to hope that your cornerback play is better. And they went out and tried to find some guys to shore that up. But you guys know enough about football. Heck, even I know enough about football to know that if you can get consistent pressure with your front four, it makes playing in that back end a whole lot more easy.
Dan, most of the time last season, scoring wasn't a problem for this Justin Roper-led offense. The defense is kind of what let this team down quite a bit and just let some teams outscore you. Talk about what Chad Byers, who's now been elevated to defensive coordinator after serving as co-defensive coordinator for the past 4 years, how he plans or hopes to overhaul this defense to get more stops.
I think they're going to be a little more multiple. I think they're going to be a little more flexible. They're going to find ways to not allow people to be so inclined to double team Stone King along the front. And I don't know if that necessarily means moving him around, but perhaps doing things with schemes. I think that they're going to try to be a little less predictable. And as I said, they've gone out and they have gotten some guys they believe are going to help them on the back end. I can't overstate what it's going to mean to have Ryan Earl back. He went out with a hand injury. Gosh, it was week 2 or week 3 last year. And it really, really took made a big hole in the linebacker core that they were never really able to fill. So having him back healthy is going to be huge for this team. And it's like spring training, right? Everybody's undefeated. Everybody's optimistic. We'll find out when it's not politically correct anymore, but as Tommy Bowden used to say, when the real bullets start flying, we'll find out what the true story is. But I think there's reason to be, let's say, cautiously optimistic. How about that?
Yeah. Talking to Dan Scott, play-by-play voice of the Furman Paladins. Dan, correct me if I'm wrong here. The Division II newcomer in Anderson, very first matchup. I know you guys, Furman has played Division II teams in the past on openers. I remember just a few years ago, it feels like a few years ago, they hosted North Greenville on a Thursday night to open the season. Anderson Furman, your thoughts when you saw this one on paper? And man, this thing's coming up here in just over a month, kicking off the season on Thursday night.
Yeah, on August the 27th, right as we're closing out 24 baseball games in a 5-week span here at Ford Field. So it's going to be a busy month, but I think it's a natural when you're looking for a home game, you're looking for a big crowd, you're looking for that kind of season opener. I mean, why is Tennessee playing Furman in week 2? Same reason we're playing Anderson in week 1. Bobby Lamb is a Furman Hall of Famer. He started this program from scratch, just like he did the Mercer program a number of years ago. And Anderson is going to bring a lot of people over there. I think it's going to be a big crowd and going to be a really fun atmosphere on that Thursday night.
Dan, you've been at SoCon Media Days last couple of days. Just give me your thoughts on the conference, how you think it might shake out. Your maybe 1, 2, 3 candidates for who's going to win this thing.
Honestly, I don't think anybody really knows, and I'm not trying to dodge the question, but I think the people who do voting in these things always vote off of the previous year's standings, and so Mercer gets voted number 1. Well, Mercer lost, I don't know how many players, and after the season, their head coach left and went to, was it Toledo or Akron or somewhere in Ohio, and a bunch of his players went with him. A bunch of his players went other places. It's not the same team. So what people are doing, I think, are voting off of last year's standings. I personally, I think if you have to look, if that's going to be your criteria, then I would say that Tennessee Tech is going to walk in here as the favorite. So I don't really know. I just know that people who vote these things usually vote off of the previous year's standings, and that's why Mercer was voted number 1 because of the incredible year they had. But if you look at their roster, they ain't got very many of those guys left.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, before we let you go, I mean, can you talk about the brawl last night between the two heated rivalries and the Hub City Spartanburgers, the Drive? Did you have to go out there and break it up?
No, we sat back and enjoyed it like everybody else did. Look, every now and again, I will get on my soapbox and start sounding like a crotchety old man about what I think about baseball. And so then what I'll do is I'll put up a photo of Statler and Waldorf from the Muppet Show, the two old guys, and say, current view in the booth right now. This whole let the kids play thing has gone way too far. And when it takes you 31 seconds to round the bases after you hit a home run and other stuff like that, I said on the air last night that I'm surprised and in some ways disappointed that stuff like that doesn't happen more often, because I believe that you're still supposed to respect the game. I believe that you don't show up your opponent. And the irony of the whole thing is that the catcher from Hub City, Cal Stark, last night played collegiately at Tennessee. And there's not a more disrespectful college baseball program in America than the University of Tennessee. And yet he gets into the Rangers organization. They do things a little differently than Tennessee does. And he's the one who took exception to Justin Gonzalez and his antics running the bases last night. And that conversation is what started everything.
Dan, give us a sense, as the Red Sox, that the Drive are part of that Red Sox organization, as they've been on their kind of historic heater. What's it like being in the organization? Some ways that maybe those of us who are not involved in a single A team like the Drive on the inside, does anything come down the pipe? Like what's it like?
Well, I can tell you that 2 weeks ago, there were people here with the Drive wondering what was going to happen to them if Craig Breslow got fired.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be an issue anymore. and for us, Tom and I and our production people here, we've been just incredibly blessed to get the entire package up to a standard that the Red Sox cable channel, NESN, by the time the year's over, is going to carry 15 or 16 of our games. And the previous ones, we've gotten a lot of great response from. When we were on Sunday, I don't think anybody was watching us because we were on NESN Plus, and the Red Sox were on the main NESN channel, and so we didn't get any residual carryover like we had in the previous games. If we get this one in tonight, we're supposed to be on NESN tonight, and we've actually built a pretty good following from people in the Northeast who are discovering minor league baseball at our level and learning a little bit about Greenville, South Carolina.
How about that? How about it? Dan, you're the best. Always appreciate you. We'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. Good to see you guys. Talk to you guys.
Dan Scott, play-by-play voice of the Furman Paladins. You heard him right here, and as Diesel said, you'll hear him very soon as Furman getting crunk on that Thursday, cranked up, Diesel, on a Thursday night against Anderson. The first time in program history, as you can imagine. Anderson's a very new program, but that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and there's a sea of purple in the Southern Conference right now, Cole, with Furman, Western Carolina, Tennessee Tech. Just does the Southern Conference know they don't have to invite the purple teams in?
Purple people eaters is what they are.
Purple, in my opinion. Hey, when we come back, Cole, let's hear what's going on around the sports world. Hit our rapid fire daily wires next.
Base.
Cole, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. A lot of information coming at our Tolos super fast. These are our Daily Wires.
Buzz.
The buzz around the sports world. And Cole, this is not what we like to hear on day number 1 of Carolina Panthers training camp. Outside linebacker Nick Scorton was carted off the field from practice today. Day number 1 of training camp, torn ACL. Brutal.
My. Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way.
Tough, man.
Second year in Nick. I mean, there's just no way. In day 1, I mean, you talk about just bad forward. That's awful, man. That is awful. Not saying that like completely derails the season, but geez, that is out of the gate. You know what that does just to the overall vibe and mojo when you lose a young talent like that?
He played in all 17 games last year, totaled 47 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble as a rookie in the NFL. Man, that's brutal. That sucks to hear. Staying with the Carolina Panthers here for just a second, Cole, David Tepper announced that he is investing an additional $500 million into ongoing stadium renovations there at Bank of America Stadium. He says he wants to, quote, improve overall fan experience, and he has an eye towards bringing the Super Bowl and the NFL draft to Charlotte.
Well, those are the kind of things Dave Tepper should be focused on. Like that I love it. Look, Bank of America's, it's not a bad stadium.
It's 30 years old, by the way.
It's old, but you know what? I've been several times in the last few years. There's nothing like, when I go, I don't think, oh, this is a dump. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I saw the renovation video that they put up, the renderings, and honestly, it's an exterior facelift. Like there's nothing
on the inside
special about it. I mean, maybe one day, Cole, they'll add a dome to it. You know, what was that?
God, no.
What was that polyethylene plastic stuff that we were talking about yesterday?
Don't ruin that stadium. Jeez. Put a dome.
If you want to have the Super Bowl, you better have a dome. We'll see. The Braves beat the Padres 7-6 last night. And then, Cole, today's score was what, 6-5?
Well,
I think
too close for comfort both nights. The Braves won 6-5 today. Yes, to your point. They were up like 6-1, 6-2, just like last night. Padres came storming back. Raciel Iglesias gave up 2 hits back-to-back in the top of the ninth today. But guess what? That doesn't matter. They won both games. And
win's a win.
They've won now 5 of their last 7. Come out of the All-Star break. 4.5 game lead. I love it, baby. I love it.
And Austin Riley is hitting again.
Let's see what his average. Let me check real quick. See what his average is. I bet it's 220. Let's see. If I had a guess, I'd say 220. Austin Riley, 216. 216. So not quite. He was at 209 coming out of the break. And hey, that's fine, though. We'll take it. We said it all along. He didn't have to be Superman. Just be better.
Right.
And let's get that guy named Ronald Acuna back, and let's see what happens, man.
Caitlin Clark picked up her 7th technical foul on the season last night in a 123-88 home win over the Connecticut Sun. That puts her 1 tech away from receiving an automatic 1-game suspension. I'm going to be 100% real with you, Cole. I didn't watch. I don't care to watch the game.
How would you watch that game last night?
I don't know why she got a technical. I don't know what happened. Let her into it. I mean, but hey, we're talking about the technical.
Well, who did watch? I mean, nobody watched. I mean, of course you didn't watch. Everybody watched that game.
She's tied for the most in the WNBA with Angel Reese of the Atlanta Dream. She has 15 in her career and the second most in a player's first 3 seasons in league history, behind Angel Reese's 19. So maybe Emmanuel Acho was right. Time to get her out of the league. We don't need that dirty play.
Time to go.
Charlie Woods failed to reach match play at the U.S. Junior Amateur after falling short in a 14-player playoff for 2 spots. Charlie, of course, he's the son of Tiger Woods.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know that.
He was tied for, maybe it was James Woods. I don't know. Tied for 63rd on Tuesday after shooting a 76 and 70 over 2 courses at Saucon Valley for a 5-over total. He was eliminated with a bogey Wednesday after being bothered by the clicking sound of a phone camera during his 3rd shot of the first playoff hole.
Maybe next time, Charlie.
Very interesting stuff here, Cole. The PGA 3M Open is underway at TPC Twin Cities in Blaine, Minnesota. Scotty Scheffler and Clemson's very own Lucas Glover were at the top of the leaderboard earlier today. Where are they at now? Well, still in the same place. Emiliano Grillo from Argentina has the lead at 7 under, but Scotty and Lucas right there at T2, one shot back. How about
it? Look at Scotty. Look at him go.
Lucas had a big day. I don't think Rory is playing in this event. This one has not drawn all of the biggest stars, but hey, it drew Scotty. Got Scotty up there to Minnesota. Next Daily Wire here for you, Cole. Tyreek Hill indicated that he could still be a long way from returning to the NFL, saying that he has no power in his recovering leg. Here's the quote. So it's about 10 months after doing 2 surgeries. My left leg is the one that I injured. I have no power in my left leg. So I'm trying to regain all the power back in my left leg, but it's one day at a time. Does he get paid $1 every time he says leg?
Yeah,
Goodness gracious, Tyreek. Let's see. Lise Klaveness, the president of the Norwegian Football Federation, has said that she will ask her board to pursue a formal ethics complaint over the suspension of Fol Balogun's World Cup ban. In an interview with the Times, I guess this is the Norwegian Times or the New York Times, don't know, she urged the FIFA president Gianni Infantino to admit it was an error to suspend the ban, saying, "We all know the decision was influenced by external pressure." And last one here for you, Cole, on our Daily Wires. Greg Sankey didn't walk back, but he did qualify his statements when earlier this week when he talked about an SEC breakaway, and that stirred a whole bunch of conversation. He said, quote, "I know that if there was just a breakaway, we'd be in front of Congress explaining ourselves. And so that's not a leading issue. Has it been talked about? I was honest in answering that. Yes. But why do they talk about that? Because there's frustration, because of the waivers, because of the lack of clarity that seems to exist that causes people to say we should be more specific about our own eligibility rules." So, cried wolf yet again, Greg Sankey.
How about it? Tolos, it's your time. What are we going to go to? Well, you have the opportunity to lead. We'll follow. Tolo Takeover next. Well, Tolos, if you want to take over, if you have the gumption to do so, you can take over the airwaves. Diesel and I have talked a lot. 844-326-3663 is the way you can get in touch with the show. You know, I am ready for us to do what we do every year. And football season rolls around. We start hearing from Tolos we hadn't heard from at all. Oh, where's this guy been, right? Where's this gal been? I love that. And maybe, just maybe, today on the Tolo Takeover, we can hear from one of those here on the 23rd day of July. I know we're not in the football season yet, but we're getting close.
We need to find some sort of sound effect. Some sort of look who came out of the woodworks sound effect.
Yeah.
For a Tolo, anytime a Tolo emails us or texts into the show or messages on the stream.
Been a while, but
when they disappear over the offseason.
A been a while button. We need a been a while button. That's what we need. We'll get our
where you been?
We need our producers next next door over to start working on that.
Cole, sorry, a little bit of a late breaking Daily Wire. Didn't see this until just now. The Ravens waived Diego Pavia.
Someone just sent that to me on Twitter, and I forgot to bring it up during the Daily Wires. Thank you for doing so, Diego Pavia. Maybe we'll get re-signed. What's our confidence level on that? What's our, before I get to this really important question I have to ask you, what's our confidence level that if the Ravens waive the guy on the 23rd day of July, early on, does he get re-signed? Is Diego Pavia's football career done today? Is it over? Is it finished?
Oh,
maybe he goes to the Canadian Football League or the UFL, right?
I could see maybe the types of teams that have quarterbacks like Diego Pavia that he might be able to fit into, not knowing anything about their current quarterback rooms. Maybe Miami, but that seems like a dangerous prospect, right?
Yeah.
Putting Diego Pavia in Miami, Florida.
I think he might be done. I mean, I'm not saying nobody else will sign him. And maybe there's a team out there that's quarterback desperate enough to sign him. But it just wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if this is it. This is it. Tolos, want to hear from you. 844-326-3663. I saw a TikTok last night. And sometimes I get, scroll, and I just will continue to binge. And I saw this, and I thought it was the dumbest TikTok I've ever seen in my life. But I want to ask you the question, Diesel, that these two podcasters were asking each other last night. And this is weird. I don't know why I think this is intriguing, but I want to ask you this question. And caller, we'll get to you in just a second. I know the phone lines are going to start piling in here soon at 844-FAN-PHONE. But Diesel, here's one of those fun, weird, what the heck kind of question is this for you and the Tolos? Would you sign up for this? You, Diesel, receive $1 million.
Sweet.
$1 million.
Nice.
However, there is a snail. We all know what a snail is. They're not a very fast animal. It's not a big animal. There's
Carries
a
its
snail
house on its back.
Yeah, there's a snail that's trying to kill you. So if the snail gets to you and bites you, you die instantly.
Oh.
So you get $1 million, but for the rest of your natural life, there's a snail that's trying to kill you. And you don't get to see him coming because it's a snail, right? Like you're not going to just all of a sudden, until he's right up on you, see him coming. Would you take the $1 million? How much do you value your life? You get the $1 million. Now, $1 million to you and I is definitely life-changing. Will you have to work again? Maybe one day, depending on how you use the money. But would you take that $1 million if I handed you the $1 million, but you know that you could die at any point if that snail does get to you and bite you?
Yeah, this is a ludicrous question, Cole, because you just move like.
But you're devaluing your life.
You can move like 5 miles away and he'll never get there.
You don't know that.
You know, snails move at max speed of 153 feet per hour. That is a max speed, not an average speed.
But what if it catches a train or something? Like, what if it just
0.029 miles an hour?
I understand that, but what if the snail just so happens to climb its way onto a car And it
salt
knows
is cheap,
but
man.
it-
I'll just pour some salt on
It
this
knows
thing.
where you are. It's following you like it's smart enough. Like that's the whole goal.
This is the premise to
It's- yeah.
the worst Netflix horror movie.
It's not
ever.
like it's a random snail. The snail's goal and mission is to
Oh,
find you.
It is motivated.
It's
like
motivated.
a Terminator. It's a tiny
Yeah.
little slimy Terminator.
It's a $1 million gift.
Wow.
Now, okay, if you got on a plane and moved to wherever, your chances would be pretty good unless the snail made its way onto the plane. But if you would be willing to, I mean, any moment that thing pops up, get you, you're dead. You're
So,
done.
A snail lives between 2 and 5
Why,
years
what's
in
the
the
name?
wild. So at the very longest, Cole, I have to avoid this snail for 5 years.
This one might be one of those.
$1 million to be on the run for 5 years, to constantly be moving.
What if it's a snail that lives longer? I mean, you
No,
never know.
that snails live 5 years. There's no lives
This
longer.
might be a
That's
live
what it
longer
is.
snail. You never know. You never know. I'm just saying. You take it, no problem. Would you ever worry about it?
I'd get a Comrex, Cole, and I'd do the show tomorrow from Atlanta. And then I'd get in the car and I'd drive to Texas and I'd do the show the next day from Texas. And I'd do that every day for 5 years until this menace left the earth.
So if I handed you $1 million, you'd still do the show tomorrow?
I mean, I need the health insurance, right?
Oh yeah, you need health insurance.
Health
'cause
insurance is expensive.
$1 million won't cover the health insurance, right? Let's go to the phone lines on the Tolo Takeover, 844-326-3663. That was a weird thing I saw on TikTok. Like, I don't know, maybe the snail could catch a plane.
What
It's
weird
just
corner of TikTok did you go into?
I know it's weird. That's sometimes what happens. Dale, been a minute button. Hit the been a minute button, Diesel. If we had a been a minute button, we'd hit it for Dale. It's been a while since we've heard from you, Dale. How the heck are you?
Oh, I'm just chilling.
Chilling.
Pigskin, getting tossed around in the air. We got training camps going on. We got a fantasy draft in 36 days, 1 hour, 22 minutes, 35 seconds.
What league are you talking about?
I'm talking about the league that I run in my office.
Well, okay, here's the problem. Nobody cares about that league. That's not important.
No, that's where you're wrong. See, the people who are in that league care about that
No.
league.
Okay, but what I'm saying is why not cast a wider net and run this league? Because I did such a horrible job for the past how many years. So why don't you run it, organize it, you head it up, and whoever's in it's in it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with it. You run it. You good? In?
We can talk about that later. Because I'm going to put a cap to it. I'm not going to run 3 different leagues.
Oh, here we go.
We're going to run a cap to it.
What else have you got to do, honestly?
I mean, that 8 to 5 that you don't want to do once you get that $1 million from that snail.
God. It's not that hard being a referee for high school football, Dale.
Oh, I wish I was making money for being a high school referee. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
So let me ask you something. Okay. What's to stop you from moving to Alaska where the snails can't survive the environment?
It just freeze. Or you go to Death Valley, California, or the Salt Flats. All it has to do is walk out on the Salt Flats, and that thing's dead.
Still, though, you
There
just
you
never
go.
know.
Absolutely.
Would you want to live there, though? Who wants to live in Alaska?
I mean, I hear it's beautiful with the northern lights and stuff, but your days get all messed up.
Plus, there's all the hunting and fishing, Cole. You'd love it.
I probably would. But so to avoid the snail, you'd move and pick up and go to Alaska.
For $1 million? Yeah, you could isolate yourself. Absolutely. I heard through the grapevine that you guys are close to a sponsor for the Upset Picks Challenge. Is this correct?
It's complicated. It's a corporate thing, and we kind of, off the record, we kind of hope it.
No, we heard, Dale, we heard months ago. We're talking 2 months ago that there may be a corporate sponsor for this. The only problem with that, Dale, and we're being 100% real with you, they would probably ask us to change the Upset Picks Challenge
completely.
It wouldn't be the same thing. No. So we'll do anything for a buck. But if we're getting paid for it, we'll do anything.
That's why I was going down the path. If you put what I was laying down, Dell, if you put what I was laying down there, to Diesel's point, it would look a lot different. Now, we hadn't heard anything on this.
It's been a while, yeah.
All right, so I mean, maybe we need to revisit it because if there's a legitimate prize, you might even get a bigger turnout.
That's what we've been
Well,
trying
we're
to
not in
achieve for a
sales.
while.
We're
Dale.
not in sales, Dale. We don't get paid to do that kind of stuff.
No, listen, here's the thing. Everybody can be bought, okay, Cole? You just tried to buy Diesel for $1 million.
He just tried to get rid of me for $1 million. He's going to stick a poisonous snail on me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, come on. Everybody has a number, okay? I'm not saying that $20 is $20, but everybody's got a number, okay?
Yeah. I'm with you. Dale, anything else before we let you go?
Are we not excited for football? Come on.
Oh, we're fired
How can we
up.
not be excited for football?
We've got our high school football preview shows next week. We're fired up. ACC Media Days last week. We're rolling with SEC. Yeah, we're ready. I'm ready.
All of the states got their official test this Saturday morning, so
Ooh.
we're there, buddy. We are there.
Oh, so this the referee test? It's on like in paper or paper? What is it?
No, it's in a class. There's a bunch of locations statewide that are being done with proctors and all this stuff. So it's yeah, I know. I'm not a fan either, but we do what we do because we love the kids.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
That's right.
And we do it for the kids. Without officials, it's just a scrimmage. You old parents yelling at the officials, remember that. Without us, it's just a scrimmage.
Show some respect, he says.
Tell him, Dale.
We can't help it if your kids aren't properly coached.
I like it.
Thanks, Dale.
Good stuff. That's a good call, Dale. Good call. Dale's always got him rocking and rolling.
You know, before we go to our next caller, Cole,
Yeah.
I have to commend Rick from Greer because Rick brought us some donuts earlier this week, and they were delicious. They were fantastic. There were 2 boxes of Krispy Kreme donuts. Not a sponsor, but if you know anybody at Krispy Kreme, have them call us. We'll do anything for $1.
Yep.
Rick, I didn't know because everybody was opening up the top box, taking the top box donuts out, which were fantastic, like original glazed donuts. I didn't know that the bottom box was where all the good stuff was, and that was like a treasure trove, Rick. I felt like a rich man when we opened that box.
Rick didn't know either, by the way.
I didn't know. I took them from a customer. I didn't know.
I'm talking. There were 2 of everything. So 2 of 6 different varieties. It was like key lime in there. There was cream filled. There was it was all kinds of stuff.
Some 70-year-old woman didn't get her order. Okay.
But I asked you that question on the show, Rick, when you called in, and I said,
I'm kidding.
No, you're not kidding. You're probably not kidding. That's the bad part.
Yeah. What sick kids didn't get their fancy donuts?
Wasn't no sick kid. Wasn't sick kids. I made sure it was old women. Okay.
What do you got against old women?
I don't know. Let me get my what I call for.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Get your order in.
The snails have one enemy in life. Okay, snails have one enemy. Do you know what that is?
Birds?
Salt?
No, cockroaches.
Oh,
so what you do is you come to the cockroach racing, you get you a cockroach, and you keep it with you all the time, and you'll never have to worry about that snail.
So you would
It
do the
won't
$1
come
million
around.
snail challenge thing?
Yeah, I would.
Where do you keep
Because
it? In a
that
box in your
snail-
pocket?
Yeah, just you can let him crawl on your shoulder, whatever you want to do. Them snails, after they went through our extensive testing and like high school refs, we have to test them, and they're very meek and mild.
You got to make sure you have a proctor. That's the thing. You got to.
Yeah.
It's got to be through a proctor.
Yeah, just
proctorologist.
Just get you a snail, and you won't have to worry about it.
You get a cockroach, and you don't have to worry about the snail.
I mean, yeah, you won't have
See,
to worry about the
you're getting
snail
all
with
twisted up,
cockroach.
Rick.
I know. I'm delivering donuts again today, and I'm getting mixed up again. So somebody's going to get somebody else's order.
God, terrible.
Rick, you're insane.
Terrible,
Thank
Rick.
you.
Appreciate the phone call. I mean, it's just
Goodness.
all. I don't know what he should say that on the radio, right?
He stole. I didn't realize. Now they're
Yeah.
in my stomach.
Yeah. How many did you eat, by the way?
I think I ate 4 of the regular glazed, and then I've eaten so far 1 of the fancy donuts. The rest of them are in the freezer.
So
Because
good.
Cole said, I don't want them, get them out of here, take them home.
Yeah.
So I
gave
took
them all.
home the whole dozen fancy donuts. I had 1 of them and put the rest in the freezer.
Pretty good discipline there. Only one.
Yeah.
Back to the phone lines we go. Tom in Somerville. Tom, what's happening on this Tolo takeover on a Thursday?
Well, so I've been mad all day,
Oh.
but
then I turn on the radio and I hear y'all talking about how your corporate company is trying to get you to possibly change the upset pick. And I doubt anybody from the corporate company is listening. But if anybody is, and y'all are trying to change one of the best things about football season, you can get lost. And as Dewey says, you're fired. Do not change upset pick. That's one of the joy of football season is every week listening to what everybody thinks gonna happen. Sometimes we got some true ball knowers that listen to this radio show, and part of me wonders if they work for Vegas or they got all the inside knowledge.
Dave Mosley.
I mean, a lot of times they get it right every week. So corporate don't need to change that, and y'all just don't even listen to them. Whatever they say, just ignore and just keep doing what you've been doing.
So Tom, we'll let you in on who the proposed sponsor is, and see if it changes your mind. If you could win some of their product, it's Casamigos Tequila. If you could win some fancy tequila, would that change your mind?
Well, me and tequila don't really get along, but if it's free tequila, it's free tequila.
Nobody gets along with tequila. You just hang out with them anyway.
Well, I mean, Jose gets along with tequila pretty well.
Jose.
Yeah.
Tom, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We hadn't heard anything about it in a while.
Been a while. Been a minute.
I hope they don't change it. Now, I want to say this before I get off here. Lane Kiffin today, he acted like he had just gotten out of a rehab. He had been in rehab for 6 months. He was all sad and moping around. I mean, he had a golden opportunity to get on that microphone and respond to Josh Heupel, to come out there with some fire. And he was standing up there giving a whole sob story, acting like he's been some kind of victim his whole life. And I was disappointed in Lane Kiffin today. I was hoping he'd get up there and just start firing off shots left, right, and the other.
He's mellowed out?
I don't know if you got to watch him, but he stood up there and he was acting like he had just gotten out of rehab, and he was giving this whole sob story. He was way too nice today, especially after what Josh Heupel said. And granted, it was in a joking manner, but you still, if you're Lane Kiffin, you could have gotten up there. You could have fired off a shot at Josh Heupel. You could have fired off a shot at Ole Miss. I mean, my goodness. And he's up there acting like, I'm a changed man. I don't get on social media anymore. Cut the bull crap, Lane Kiffin. We know you're the same guy you've always been. You'll never change. And I'll be honest, I will be highly disappointed this football season if he's not running his mouth on Twitter. It's what makes him unique, and it's what makes him great. And I was highly disappointed in Lane Kiffin, and I'm giving him 2 thumbs down for his performance today at SEC Media Day.
Tom, Lane Kiffin is like a Scooby-Doo villain that has ripped off like 4 different masks at this point. He's the board coach at FAU, then he rips it off and he's wide open at Ole Miss, and then he rips it off and he's the boring coach at LSU again. He's going to rip it off again. Lane, like Crazy Lane, will be back.
I hope so. The SEC needs that. They need that from him. He's going to be the talk of the town every single week this year, so he needs to play that villain role. If not, he ain't gonna laugh on LSU.
He said his son was the one that told him to get off of social media, Tom.
Well, my son ever tells me to get off social media, I'm gonna laugh in his face.
Not gonna do it.
We can't let Pete Golding be the biggest mouth in the SEC.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, John Summerall and Pete Golding yesterday, they were fired off cuss words left and right, and that's what you expect at an event like this. Not some sob story from Lane Kiffin. LSU should fire him today.
God. Thanks, Tom.
Good stuff, Tom.
Go Gamecocks.
Good to hear from you.
On the Joy Law Firm text line, texter from the 325 says $1 million but if South Carolina wins the national championship in the next 5 years, you die. What are you going to do? Texter, I think that's a great question, but give me the million. Give me the million today. I'll take my chances. And Tom, Cocky, all the other Gamecock fans, I'm sorry, but I'm taking the million.
I think Tom would take the million, donate it to their NIL to help them get more players,
and then die,
and then gladly give his life for South Carolina to have a national championship.
But what do you get?
I don't think he'd get it.
Would he get to celebrate the national, or he die before?
No, you got to get him at least a day. That's cruel to not
give him a day.
Like you expire as soon as the clock hits all zeros.
Yeah, you're done. I mean,
that's dark.
You don't even get to celebrate. You're
that's
done.
Dark.
That's funny though, Texter. 1 million. If South Carolina wins it, you're dead. That's terrible, but funny.
$1 million wouldn't buy you a backup quarterback in 2026.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's
crazy.
That is. What about? Let's turn it around on Clemson. $1 million. But if Clemson wins the national championship in the next 5 years, you die. What are you going to do? Oh, that's tough. Is it tough?
Take
I don't
the
know.
money.
Taking it?
Take the money.
$1 million. But if Clemson wins, that's Texter. You've got me on one now. Now you've got me thinking. You got me thinking. That's a good social media post, Texter. I'll have to, if it's okay with you, I'll have to use that on our socials.
Stolen.
Yeah, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to make a graphic. South Carolina, I don't know that it'll get as much comments, but
well,
it's just not as
if you put it up for South Carolina, you and I know exactly what's going to happen. If you put it up asking the question about South Carolina, it's going to be 80% Clemson fans saying you wish you're never going to win you're never going to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And if you put it up about Clemson, it's going to be 80% Gamecock fans saying your program is cooked and you're never going to win again.
Well, how did we
you
get
know?
I don't know how we got on this dark subject.
You started talking about
death.
TikToks and killer snails.
Jeez, I don't know. That's bad, but it does. The Clemson one makes you think about it, doesn't it? Like if you accepted the $1 million, you would have before you did, you would still you'd spend some time. I don't know if it's 5 minutes, an hour, a day, how long it would take you to think about this. But like if you went home and told your wife you're married and said, "Hey, honey, I'm taking $1 million," she'd be just overjoyed until you say, "Well, what's the catch?" Well, if Clemson wins the national championship, I'm dead.
Fun thought experiment, and we can push this to the other side of break if you want to, Cole. 5 years, in no particular order, next 5 years, who will the next 5 national champions be? Like, who do you think set up in the next 5 years to win a natty?
I think Georgia's always right there, just because of what Kirby's built.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Georgia's probably going to win another one in the next 5.
Miami? Maybe gets one.
Yeah, that's a good chance.
LSU, maybe 4 years from now, 3-4 years from now. I think Lane will have him there.
3-4 years from now. LSU's the easy
Big
answer.
Ten
there.
team.
Ohio State's
spending like crazy, so that's 4.
And you throw
who's the last one?
Probably one more SEC team just to
You're going safe. 3 out of the next 4. Or 3 out of the next 5.
I don't think
SEC
Indiana.
teams?
I don't think Indiana pops back. Who else in the Michigan? Nah,
I don't think Michigan gets one.
Ohio State's definitely. I think they could. Yeah, I think you'd go Ohio State. You went Ohio State, Miami, LSU. Who was the 4th?
You said Georgia.
Georgia.
I'll give you Georgia.
And a lot of people would probably throw Texas in there just because of Sark and that money. I don't know if I'd throw Texas in there or not, though, but I can give you 4.
I'm going to go wild with you. I'm telling you Florida gets one.
I don't know about
I'll
5
years. Maybe you're number 5.
April Mosley says Oregon.
Hey, where you been, April Mosley?
Hey, Dan Lanning, that's not a – you know what? That's a good pick.
I like it.
I like that. I like Dan Lanning a lot. April, I do. I like that. By the way, April also said on YouTube, she said, Dave said he hopes y'all have a prize for him this year. We'll see.
What are we calling the button? Where you been button?
Where you been button?
Where you been button? Where's Dave been?
The where you been button.
You know, Dave, he is a dedicated Tolo during the Upset Picks Challenge. But where's Dave the rest of the year?
Where
That's
you
what I
been
wanna know.
button?
Where you been?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. We need a button in the studio.
Yep. we'll work on that in the commercial break.
Yeah.
When we come back, Cole, I got some bad news. Speaking of killers, how about this? This is a killer for the Carolina Panthers, who are really hoping this defense was going to get better. The news earlier today of one of their star defensive players going down on day one of training camp. Also, some news we'll hear directly from the GM of the Carolina Panthers, Dan Morgan, on some of the other players who are out and the movements that they have made to try to fill those roles. We'll talk about the Carolina Panthers on the other side of the break.
If your fantasy team is better than your upstate.
Well, crap, Cole. The Carolina Panthers felt like they had something special in edge rusher Nick Scorton. 5 sacks on the season last year. Pretty good player. He was as a rookie, so I'm sure he wasn't seeing a ton of snaps on the field, but he is now out on the very first day of Carolina Panthers training camp, and that sucks. Torn ACL.
Yeah, I mean, can you talk about bad luck? And I know you don't believe in luck, Diesel. Remember 2-3 years ago, we had that conversation. You said luck's not real.
It's not.
I don't know what you call it today. Bad whatever for the Carolina Panthers. That is just so unfortunate. And look, I mean, was he an all-pro linebacker? No, but a young player that had a lot of upside and they felt good about. And it just, like, for Panther fans, boy, talk about raining on the parade a little bit on day number 1.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's brutal. They still have Derek Brown back there in the creating sacks for the Carolina Panthers. But hey, Derek Brown's a 28-year-old guy, Cole. He's going to start getting a little bit older in this league, and you hoped to be able to bring Nick Scorton along. Now, an ACL tear generally takes 6 to 12 months, depending on whether you have surgery and your ability to rehab it. Now, again, like we were talking about earlier with Sam Levitt, he's going to have the best doctors in the world. And how fast does it take NFL players to recover from an ACL? Well, they typically come back a little bit faster than others.
It's still, though, out for the season.
It's the season.
That's
though.
what matters, and not having them, that's a tough loss. And what is that, how does that change? I think that'll be interesting when you start hearing from the media availability of Coach Canales and Dan Morgan. Does that change anything immediately? Probably not immediately, but maybe down the line.
So let's hear a little bit from Dan Morgan, the GM of the Carolina Panthers. He was available earlier today. So this audio is from before practice, before this happened. He's going to go into some of the injuries and transactions that they have been making. He's also going to be talking about getting more specific on some of these injured players here. But let's hear what he had to say about some of the player movement that they've had over the past couple of weeks.
Non-football injury, Bobby Brown, he was working out. He hurt his hamstring a little bit, so I don't really have a timeline on it, but hopefully he's back sooner than later. All you guys know about JC Horn, cutting his toe. That's doing good. I think that'll be a matter of days. So nothing long-term there. Everybody knows physically unable to perform would be Icky and Turk Wharton. You guys know about their injuries. They're both doing really well, attacking the rehab process, looking really good, making a lot of progress. So we're really pleased with where they're at. Non-football illness, Taylor Moton, all you guys know about that as well. Doctors are taking really good care of him. He's doing great. He's in a good place, being well taken care of. He's going to be around the team. He's got a lot of support from, in the building, teammates, doctors. So he's doing really well.
We love Dan Morgan. He's doing a phenomenal job as GM of the Carolina Panthers, and he's been on this show. Always a great time having him on, but he is like that coach that you were talking about. Was it Ryan Silverfield you were talking about earlier from SEC Media Days?
Put you to sleep a little bit.
We'll put you to sleep a little bit.
Well, I mean, he didn't say anything there. So-and-so, you know about him. So-and-so, you know about him. So-and-so, he cut his toe. So-and-so, you already know about him. So-and-so, you already know about. I mean, what day? So what's the purpose of this meeting? It feels like an Odyssey meeting. What is the purpose of this meeting?
Could have been an email, right?
Yes.
So this is where it starts to make a little bit of sense. He goes into Monroe Freeling, the new lineman that they just brought in. He played left tackle at Georgia, really good football player. He's not going to be playing left tackle for the Carolina Panthers this year. How about that, Cole? You're the first draft pick for the team. You're brought in and said, hey, we're just going to shift you from one side of the line to the other side of the line. I'll let you go into it after this, how difficult of a transition that is. But here is Dan Morgan. Last piece of audio we'll play from him talking about making that switch.
Coach Canales will talk to you tomorrow, but I'll just kind of lay the groundwork a little bit. Monroe is going to be at right tackle. We're going to leave Rashid at left tackle. We have Stone Forsyth. We just re-signed Brady Christensen, who can play both sides. We got some undrafted rookies that we're excited about. So I think we'll be covered there. We feel good about it. And, I know Timo will definitely support, Monroe there at right tackle and teach him all he knows. So, yeah, we feel good about it.
Yeah, I know nothing about playing offensive line.
Yeah,
at the highest level of football. You call Burns games. You talk to coaches all the time. Is that big of a deal moving this rookie from the left to the right?
Well, I think it depends who you are, first of all, because there are guys that are versatile enough to do both. And we talked to one of those guys last week at ACC Media Days, that can play different positions on the offensive line, Diesel. It's possible. And I'm not saying that he can't do it. But the main thing is he's going from, is it left to right? Is what you said?
Correct.
You got to reverse all of your muscle memory, right? So if you're going from tackle to tackle on the right, left, right, you're reversing all of your muscle memory. And I think that's a challenge for some people. Going back to what I said, some people. And in the playbook, like it's mirrored, right? So all of the things that you do, I think it matters. It's certainly a big deal, but they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't feel as if that guy couldn't do it. You know what I mean? You have to have attributes like, I would imagine when they talked about this, they saw the attributes that, what's his name?
Monroe Freely.
Monroe Freely.
Yeah.
They would have seen the attributes like the push off leg, the hip mobility, all these things you have to be able to do it. I would imagine if he didn't have all these tangibles, they'd have said, no, we got to keep him on the right side or whatever. But I mean, everything's different. Your stance is different. Your footwork's different. Like I said, your hips, what you do, your playbook, your mirroring, everything, muscle memory, it's different. But some of the best at their positions can absolutely do it.
He's also, I'm sure, Cole, going to be asked to block out in space a little bit more. If you're playing left tackle for a right-handed quarterback, you're guarding his blind side.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing right tackle, now, that's not to say that Bryce Young is Derek Zoolander and he can only go to one direction. But more often than not, he's going to be moving to that right side. So you may be asked to push out into space and block alongside a tight end.
I think it's always been more difficult to go from left guard to left tackle. I think there's more of a difference between left guard and left tackle than there is right tackle to left tackle. Just because the guard position and left tackle, yeah, I do. Even though it's on the same side of the line, I think there's, and again, offensive line coaches out there may disagree, philosophy, whatever. I'm not an offensive line coach, certainly, and never have claimed to be, but it's cool that you can transition. I mean, that you need Tyler Smith from Alabama. He did it. He did it when he went to pro, and you can do it. You have to be able to have those attributes to where you can do it. But you said it. Left tackle's tough. Left tackle's tough. They feel like they could use him there more, and we'll see. I mean, he's a guy that you took in the first round, right? Didn't they take him in the very first round? You better hope that he has those attributes when you. And you know what? That's probably something that happened before the draft. That's probably something that they looked at and said, hey, here's our needs. Here's where we think we can get better Diesel. I'm sure they had identified those things before they drafted the kid. I would imagine, if they knew they wanted to have him on the left side of the line compared to the right side, you would hope they already knew those things.
Well, Cole, we can identify that we are officially 2 weeks away from the NFL Hall of Fame game.
That's nuts.
Think about that. 2 weeks from today, Thursday, August 6th. Is the NFL Hall of Fame game. The Carolina Panthers will be playing in that one against the Cardinals, right? Cardinals.
Yeah.
And then we're now just about 7 weeks away from actual football. Game number 1, the Carolina Panthers hosting the Chicago Bears on September 13th. They're still going to have to do it, though, Cole, without Jonathan Brooks. Maybe he'll be back. He's been hurt basically his entire career. Got to get Jonathan Brooks back at some point or move on.
And I can't wait until people watch these preseason games against the Cardinals and freak out, right? make so much of it.
Do you think coaches really even care if they win or lose preseason games? Like
that's a good question.
It's evaluation, right? It's evaluation time. What can our backups do? Do these backups need to be on our roster, or can we move them down to the scout team? Do they really care?
Do they care about
winning?
So
about winning
the preseason games? I think coaches speak, they'd say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But a deep down, I think for a lot of them, they would say no. Now, every coach is different, obviously, Diesel, but I think a lot of coaches would say no. If I were a coach, I'd say no. Now, would I say that publicly? I don't know if I'd say it publicly or not. You have things that matter in the preseason, Diesel, that are completely non-attributed to wins and losses, right?
Right.
What you said, development, If a guy's going to make a roster, what he's going to do, what position. There are things that matter. But the problem that fans have, Diesel, and some media members think that we have to judge these preseason games on wins and losses, and they get upset when their team loses. Wins and losses don't matter in the preseason. They just don't. I mean, there might be a coach out there, old ball coach, that disagrees with me. But, yeah, you want to have team-winning culture, and I know Mark Schlereth would probably disagree with me and all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Preseason has never, you go find me when preseason has equated to season success. It doesn't matter if the wins are there, if the losses are there. There's so much more development. Now, again, I don't think a coach would admit that to you. I don't think they would. Coaches speak, we want to win every game we play.
Yeah.
We want to win every game we play, and whatever you say there, Captain.
So, yes or no from the 2025 production? They won 8 games. They won the division, backed into the division, went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Does Carolina win more, less, or the same number of games?
Off the cuff.
We
hadn't done our official predictions yet.
What is this, year 5 of Bryce?
I'd say I'd probably lean the same.
I mean, how much better have the Falcons gotten? How much we think that the Saints have gotten better.
I'm probably leaning near the
still
same.
pretty good.
I'm probably leaning near the
Okay.
same.
All right.
Subject to change. But
TBD. We hadn't really dived.
We got to set a date for
into
all
the
that.
Panthers.
We got to set a date when we're going to go make our predictions for Clemson, Carolina, Panthers. Sometime in August, we always do. We'll have to do it before. I guess before the the Hall of Fame game. August 6th, is that right? August 6th, man. Hall of Fame game coming up soon.
Mitchell on the text line says we need to record Dewey saying, "Where you been? Oh,
not a bad idea.
You hadn't been around."
That's not a bad idea. Who said that? Mitchell.
Mitchell.
That's
Good idea.
That's not a bad idea. A couple of texts real quick. RJ got in on the Joy Law Firm text line. He says, "I don't think Clemson football wins the national championship in the next 5 years. So I think it'd be safe to take the money, not to be that guy, but I think Clemson's window to win another is pretty much gone since NIL has taken over. They'll still compete for the ACC and make the CFP, but that's it," says RJ. I don't disagree with you, RJ. I don't disagree with you. I want to go to Gator Bobby's text in the next segment, final segment of the hour. Gator Bobby, you sent in a funny text, kind of just playing off of our stupid question from earlier. What did Gator Bobby have to say? I think he's the one that really asked a good question when it comes to this money, this $1 million that we're taking. I don't know if it's a real million, but we'll find out next. takeover with this really weird question about a snail and $1 million. And for whatever reason, sometimes in local radio, a really weird question gets the Tolos talking, calling, buzzing more than sports sometimes. And we love that about you. So Tolos started texting in. Somebody asked about, would you take the $1 million if you could guarantee Carolina wasn't going to win a national championship? I spun it around about the Clemson. Texter from the 828 said, is the $1 million tax-free? That's a good question as well, right? You have to pay taxes on it. But I did want to go back to Gator Bobby's text. So you, Diesel, you answered the question about Clemson. I asked you, I said, would you take the $1 million if it meant Clemson never won a national championship in the next 5 years? You said yes, right? You take the $1 million. Gator Bobby texted in on the Joy Law Firm text line, and I think this is the better question. Gator Bobby asked, how many teams would you not take the money against? So kind of going back to your question from early in the show about who the next 5 national champions will be, Gator Bobby says, which teams or how many teams would you not take the money against? And I think that's the more thought-provoking question.
Who has a real shot?
Who would you not take it against? So I wouldn't take it against Ohio State.
This is for next year only, right?
Next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
Yeah. Next 5 years.
Yeah.
I would not take it against Ohio State. So Ohio State's one I'm not going to do it. Would you? Ohio State? Would you X them off the list?
I wouldn't take the money. You go Big Ten.
I'd probably go Oregon too, kind of to April's point. Like Dan Lanning's going to break that door down soon, isn't he?
You would think. I mean, he's had every resource, though, all this time.
I know.
He keeps getting himself there. And you keep getting yourself there enough times, eventually you're going to break through. It's like the Ryan Day conversation where Ohio State fans were ready to blow him out the door. And people were saying, he can't win national championships. Well, just because he hadn't won one yet, or hadn't won one at the time, hadn't won one yet doesn't mean that he is unable to win a national championship.
Right. And that's totally fair. And I think Dan Lanning's a national championship coach.
Would you take the money against Curt Cignetti in Indiana? I mean,
next 5 years, like
next 5.
You say it'd be stupid not to because he just won one, but does he win another in the next 5? Like, not many coaches can do that. You're making me think on Cignetti.
I wouldn't take it.
You wouldn't take the money there?
He wins. I think there's a chance. There's a good enough chance that in the next 5 years, Cignetti gets another one. I mean, what if
land one more, or you land a generational quarterback?
Right. What if? And I think there's a good chance of this. What if he gets back to the playoff again this year and makes a good run? All of a sudden, Indiana goes from, all right, that's a cute story in year number 1 to, that's incredible what they achieved in year number 2 to, this is a team that's built to do this every year.
Right. And that's the difference. 3. You got good teams, and then you've got teams that you said, these are the Georgias. These are the teams that can do this every year.
Yeah.
These are the mainstays.
We don't know if Indiana's there yet.
No, I wouldn't bet against. I wouldn't do it again. So I'd take Ohio State off. I'd probably take Oregon off. Oregon just scares me.
Yeah.
Take Indiana. I'm taking 3 Big Ten teams off.
No Michigan. No.
Nah. I think Michigan's had their run. It's still got a ton of money. They Portnoy money.
What if Sharon Moore was still there?
Nah.
What if Harbaugh was still there?
Nah, I'm good. I'm Michigan down. I'm Michigan down.
Yeah.
Those 3 Big Ten teams, I'd say no.
Out of the SEC, I'm going
Georgia, of course.
Georgia, Texas. I'm putting A&M in the conversation.
I wouldn't go to Texas. I wouldn't pick Texas.
You don't think there's no way they win a title the next 5?
I just think we've been saying this every year about Texas. They're going.
What was it? CJ Vogel told us yesterday that as good as Sarkisian has been since he got there, that the natives are restless.
I mean, I like Sark. I do. I like Sark.
What's Sark's record at Texas? It's really
84
good.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
It's I know it's obviously it's amazing.
Yeah,
but they're already at that point where they're saying, win one or you're gone in the near future. 5 years, total record 48-20.
What was that?
48-20 at Texas. Which isn't incredible, right? That's not like, oh my God, amazing.
It's good.
It's good, but not amazing. It's obviously gotten better in the last 2 years. But like with that money, are you telling me
that's true.
that
That's what I'm
Arch
saying.
Manning,
That's a good text from Gator Bobby.
Arch
That's-
Manning moves out of town.
Yeah.
They're not willing to go out there and spend the money and get the next whoever.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. That's why. That's
maybe
why
Tom
I think-
Brady's kid will step up.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. The next coming, right? Let's do
Yeah.
it to Tom Brady. We did it to Arch Manning.
Yeah, we're going after names, not players. Hey, Cole, when we come back, let's jump back into SEC Media Days, day number 4, the last day of SEC Media Days, and some heavy hitters were there, including Lane Kiffin. We'll break down what we saw next.